We live. We up in here. What's up, family? AM and the PM, only on HUD Radio. We're all live from our own Real Talk studios right now. I'm our own Greg Mwagvik, Dan McGuckin. Sorry, Danny. We are brought to you every Wednesday by our doc, Make 'em Yours. That's Dr. Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC, Burlington, Cherry Hill, Princeton locations. Find them on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. Doing remote services right now, the doc. So still keeping up with the grind and still giving, the help to the people. So it's Dr. Paul Vidal, the GOAT, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. Got a ton to talk about. When will sports be back? I don't know. We'll talk about that later on. So, life without sports. What are we doing? What are you doing with your time? We want to know just one thing that you're doing to try to, I don't know, keep sane. It's probably the right wording. Eagles signed Roby Coleman, another addition to this defense. We'll get into that throughout the show as well. To me, a top 5 slot guy in this league, a huge upgrade for this defense. Howie Roseman all in on the defensive side of the football early on here in free agency. And, that's going to obviously put a lot of pressure on him to go get offensive help in the draft. So we'll talk Eagles throughout the show as well. But our main topic at hand, switch it up a little bit, is the best Philly athlete from 1990 up. All right? So the best Philly athlete from 1990 up. Guys, right into our poll question, brought to you by Ambuck Services, AMBUCK Services.com. Tell my boy Michael Ambrose, HUD sent you 20% off. Gutter guards, gutter installation, decking, anything outside. All right? AmbuckServices.com, 20% off. Let them know HUD sent you. Allen Iverson is the best Philly athlete since 1990. Do you agree or disagree? Let us know. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. We're live. We're talking about it. And for wherever you catch your podcast, we're there as well. iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify Speaker, Google Podcasts. What am I missing? SoundCloud, everywhere. So we're there. So you can find us. Comment in. We're reading off all your questions, comments. Obviously, the only concerns you would have would be the Eagles wide receiver group right now. So if you have concerns.
And linebackers. What are linebackers?
Because there's no other sports being talked about. You can comment in your concerns as well. So let us know. We want your top 5, top 10 list as well. So comment in, chime in. We're reading it off at all tonight. Let us know. So, boys, to the poll, Allen Iverson is the best Philly athlete since 1990. Agree or disagree?
I agree. The only other person that would be close is Brian Dawkins, in my opinion. I mean, I know Greg has a different answer, but
it's not like I don't like it. You know what I mean?
I'm not saying yours is hot take-ish, because it's not. But I don't know. I wouldn't have thought of him, I guess.
Yeah, no, most wouldn't. Hence why I'm the issue.
Yeah, you disagree with it, and you have another guy in there. So who is that guy?
Yeah, so I disagree. And that hurt because I love Allen. Allen is my guy. My favorite number is 3 because of Allen. That adjusted because of Allen. The impact that he made on and off the floor is immeasurable. But I went with Jimmy Rollins as my answer. I think he was equally impactful for the Phillies. Maybe not as much off the field as Allen was, but he was equally impactful for the team. And he was the leading force of that championship. And that championship was my first of my generation. Tommy, you're first. Danny, of course, is first. So I hold that championship just really high. And that's the last thing. That's the only thing that didn't keep Iverson from there was, getting over the hump.
Fair to a point. I mean, I agree with the poll. To me, it's not just obviously on the court production, right? I mean, you're talking about a guy that was never surrounded with much.
I agree there. Yep.
Outside of 2001 year where he was surrounded by enough to get it done. And, who's this? PJ says 6-foot guards do not lead their teams deep into the playoffs, let alone reach the finals. And the Sixers came close to starting that series against LA 2-0. which drastically would have changed our fortunes. And, he's not wrong. I mean,
absolutely.
A guy who played every night, and we know the practice situation, but a guy who played nightly, a guy who left it all out there, a guy that I think everybody in this city related to in terms of toughness, because all we ask from our players is to be tough, right? So Allen got away with so much off the court. I don't want to say drama, but so much off the court stuff because of how great of a player he was. And he showed up for all 48 minutes every night. I mean, you're talking about a guy.
Practice.
Yeah, a guy who was knocking 40 nightly. Okay. And his ability to get to the rim, his explosiveness. Listen, he changed the guard position and the point guard position in the NBA. So when I look at Allen, I look about global impact. And
he invented the arm sleeve.
The sleeve, maybe, the rose, right? The baggy shorts. I said, I'm a suburban cat, right? I mean, suburban kids were getting the Reeboks, all right? And suburban kids were wearing their drawers a little baggy.
Yeah.
It was an impact not only in the African American community, but an impact overseas and an impact every community everywhere, right? I mean, that's how much of an impact Allen Iverson was to the game of basketball, because everybody felt like they could relate. Because you're talking about a 6-foot guy. Everybody's 6 foot. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's 6 foot. So you're like, and the toughness and the swagger and the things he brought. I know he didn't win the end goal, right? I know that. But as we see in the NBA, you always need a sidekick of some sort. Never had it. Is that blame on him a little bit? I don't know. I'd more blame the organization. But a guy to be able to do what he did all by himself, if he would have had a sidekick of any caliber for at least 2 to 3 years, he would have an NBA championship. So I agree to the poll question. It's Iverson. And honestly, I wish I could say it was close because I love a lot of other guys. It's not even close. Not.
And you said 2001 was the only year he was surrounded by guys. And even that year was just like really defensive players. Like he was the only scoring option for 10 years here. Like he never had another go-to scorer with him.
No, you're right. And that was also it.
It was like Keith Van Horn. Sorry, Greg. It was like Van Horn, Weber. It was like retread guys that were on the downside of their careers and not good enough. And it was like putting Band-Aids on stuff. And never once in the draft, in free agency, trade-wise, did this team really ever go out and address putting somebody else with him. And it wasn't until he went to Denver where he actually played with another scorer. It was just too late. Just too late.
No, and also the era he played in, too. This isn't this sissy era of today's basketball where everybody could score. He was scoring in an era where you got clobbered when you went to the basket. It wasn't the 80s and the 90s, in terms of the Pistons and the Bill Lambiers and knocking your block off. But it was still a very physical era of basketball to where you're absolutely right. He was doing things that aren't or are done today, but because the NBA is so soft today.
No, you're right. And young King saying, you guys forgetting Kobe was born in Philly, y'all tripping. Listen, I'm talking about guys who played here. Yeah. Played for one of these 4 franchises here in Philadelphia. I love Kobe. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you're talking just Philly-born athletes, then absolutely he's one. But I can't when you we're talking Sixers, Flyers, Eagles, Phillies. You know what I mean? So we're not tripping because we know how great Kobe is. This is all about guys to clarify, just guys that have played here. So he never played here. That's the one reason why Kobe Bryant isn't on the list. George says Lenny Dykstra.
Oh, I love it.
Nails. Vincent Russo. Obviously, I know he's not the best, but Foles is my guy. And before we came on, I expected right there some Foles guys because Eagles wise. So I get it. I get it. It's just, to me, it's about longevity. Has a lot to do with this as well. And are you a first ballot Hall of Fame guy? And are you a guy that transcended not only basketball or your sport here in Philadelphia, but you transcended a sport, right? There's not one guy from 90s up that transcended their sport here. One, and that's out. Nobody else. I mean, Kobe, yeah, if you want to put Kobe in, but I can literally battle and make a case that Allen impact for the NBA and Philly was bigger than Kobe's. I know all about Kobe Bryant. Okay, I'm talking about impactful, man. Who do more people relate to? Who do more people love? It's not even close. If you did a damn poll before Kobe's death, not now, because Kobe runs with it. He runs away with it, rightfully so. Okay, but if you did a poll 5 years ago, 4 years ago, which Philly athlete, if you want to count Kobe in, was more impactful and better, you can make the case for Allen. You could.
Yeah, because you got to remember, too, first portion of Kobe's career, however long that was, he distanced himself from Philly. He hated Philly. He didn't even relate to Philly anymore because he knew that of what he had back here in a sense of it didn't want it to bog him down during his time in LA. It wasn't until later in his career and even after that he even started embracing Philly again. So, Tom, you're absolutely right. If you do this poll before, before Kobe's death, obviously Kobe's a first ballot Hall of Famer. We know Allen's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. So check there. You're right. So most people probably here, if they don't know Kobe personally, are probably going to pick AI.
Yeah, and it's just, to me, I mean, they're equally on the court. You can make the case that they're right there with each other. In terms of if Allen wasn't 6 foot, really 5'11", right, then his longevity probably would have been longer too. So that factors in the longevity, and Kobe went longer than Allen. But I mean, both are right there, neck and neck.
Yeah.
And I know Bill disagrees. He's going to say Reggie, and I don't hate it. But Reggie left us, man.
Reggie only played 2 years here in the 90s.
Yeah, so it's hard.
I get it. I love the name, and you're right, Tom. I get it. It's a great name. I had to go back and make sure I didn't miss him on my list, but he only played 2 years.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I love Reggie, and I know how great Reggie is, and Reggie is in my top 20 here. You know what I'm saying? On the list we're going to give out a little bit later. He's on that list, or top 15. But to me, it's Allen. Allen brought basketball back, right? Like Danny, you're talking about putting Ben and Joe on our list of top 20 guys from 90s up. You know what I mean? Because there isn't any basketball guys, right?
Right.
Like you're gonna put Charles on because he played for a minute in the 90s here. You know what I mean? So obviously he goes on the list. But think about that. You know what I mean? From 90s up, 20 years. That's how impactful and how much Allen meant to us as basketball fans.
I mean, it also shows how inept the Sixers have been, but yeah.
Dude, I'm telling Tommy, I was going through the rosters like of that late 90s, early 2000s. Oh, my goodness. After Iverson for a couple of those years, those rosters were dreck.
Andre Iguodala was the best player on the team.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. It wasn't many options.
If Joel was older, you could put him on the list because talent-wise, he's right up there with anybody. And Ben. Just they're too young right now, I guess.
Yeah, they're right there. And that's the thing. Like Joel transcended the organization.
Second he stepped on the court.
Yeah, it changed. They became essentially Eastern Conference contenders the second he stepped on the court in a way. They haven't got there yet. And it's been a big issue. But, in terms of talent-wise, I completely agree with you. Completely agree. Johnny Cash says Eric Lindros. Great name. Definitely in my top 10.
He's in my top 5, actually.
And definitely brings the impact side of things on.
No, I love the big freight train. I loved him. He was my guy, through the period of time. And like I said, he's in my top 5.
Yeah, top 5 is not bad, Greg, because we can't forget the impact, and we can't forget how great he was pre-injuries, pre-concussions. We can't. Yeah. Robbie brought him up early on, Pope, and I said, we got to get our hockey quota in. So obviously, we don't want to take heat for that. But a freight train, a guy who felt like he was running a 4.4 on ice, and his size and strength, and brought the casual hockey guy in. Frank Vespi says Iverson, B-Dogs, Utley are in his top 3. Ryan says, where do guys like McNabb, Hamels, Howard, and Leclerc fall on your guys' list? Obviously not, but top 10, top 15.
I have all in my top 15 but Leclerc, and he's just outside.
Yeah, I think Leclerc's just outside, but the other two are definitely in.
Where do you guys stand on the big piece? I mean, his 5-year run was like as good as anybody's in baseball.
It was historic, if you think about it. His 5-year run was historic, and he was almost as impactful as Jimmy. Jimmy was the voice, right? You know, you hear what the Flyers were saying this year about Kevin Hayes being that voice for some of the guys to take a pressure off of them, right? That was Jimmy of that era for the Phillies. Jimmy was the lightning rod. Jimmy was the voice. Jimmy was that guy to take the pressure off of them so that Ryan Howard could just eat fastballs for that 5-year span and just mash baseballs.
Because to me, I would put Howard in my top 5.
He's just outside of mine, yes. But he's in my top 10.
Well, anybody that knows me know what Ryan Howard means to me and how I feel about Ryan Howard. So I completely agree with you, Danny. I mean, Ryan Howard's a top 5 guy to me because it was fear. It was a carrier. It was, a middle of the lineup guy that we were missing for so long. And not only that, just big hit after big hit after big hit. People forgot that through that stretch before we got hurt. People forgot what he was on pace to do. And if they didn't wait so long to bring him up, you know what I mean? That's another factor in there.
Oh, I'm sorry. He is in my top 5. I'm sorry. I misread. He is in my top 5.
Daniel Bakley said, did anyone see Mookie Betts said if season is canceled, he's still testing free agency?
I love it.
All right.
Let's go.
Wayne Miller. I almost went Lindros also. Where's Cunningham on your list? Definitely top 15.
Did he play again? Did he play enough?
I think enough. I think
he was still here like mid-90s.
Daniel says Hamels had that magical postseason before he became great. Yeah, I agree. And Hamels is on the list. That foursome of the Phillies is on this list. When you talk about Rollins, Utley, Howard, Hamels, they have to be. For a lot of us, like Greg said early on the show, our first championship that we got to witness here. So them guys are always going to mean more. And then, you talk about, where's a guy like Malcolm Jenkins rank on your list? Where does a guy like Donovan McNabb rank on your list? Where's a guy like Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham? I mean, we want to talk about guys who have been here for a minute, right, and also have a ring to go with it. Where do these guys rank on your list? So it gets tough. It gets a little tough for some of these teams that have won on where you sort of will you allow in your top 15 and not allow in your top 15.
Yeah,
because it's hard because the heart tells you like, oh man. Fletcher to me's got to be a top 15 guy because he's been dominant in his position for a while too. If you look at Eagles guys, BG's like a fringer, but Fletcher's been all pro, arguably top 3 of the position for what? The last 6-7 years?
Yeah.
And that's longevity and a ring. Bill Middlebrook says Giroux, not a bad name. Just doesn't have the hardware, and being it's hockey, it gets hit a little bit with it. Right, fair?
We lost Danny.
But back to me. Whatever, we're good. But
yeah. No, you're right though. But if you want to talk on this side to Drew's case, because he's in my top 10. To Drew's case, he's done it for a long time, so he's got that longevity portion, and. You're right, though. He doesn't have the hardware as a team, but has, if you look over the decade of the 2000s, is one of the top 5 players in the decade, points-wise when you look at it.
Yeah, you're not wrong, and he shouldn't get knocked for it. I mean, he's definitely in the top 15. G's definitely in my top 15. He deserves it in terms of longevity, production, definitely deserves it. Nicholas Park says –
a lot of good names here.
Yeah, Iverson, McNabb, Dawkins, Lindros, Utley, Westbrook, Hamels, Leclerc, Hopkins, Howard, just to name a few that come to mind. So, I mean, that's great.
And you know what? That's great because I forgot about a guy like Bernard Hopkins, because, you forget about those boxers and those MMA guys that come through the city and are from the city. You know, there's a lot of guys that come in and say they're from it, but B-Hop legit was part of Philly. And Nick, thanks for letting me know. I forgot him on my top 15.
I'm not gonna lie, I forgot him as well. Daniel Bakley wants to know where Westbrook's ranked. I think honestly, Daniel, you know, this is going to get arguments from people, but I would put McCoy higher than Westbrook on my list.
I agree. He's the all-time leading rusher.
Yeah, it's because he's an off the field scumbag. I can't put it against him in terms of how good he is. You know, like, and I think a lot of people do. You know, and I just can't do it to him.
What about JP? JP's got to be up there too.
JP's in my top 10.
I mean, yeah, he's best left tackle in football for how many years?
Yeah. There's no doubt. Yeah.
Another one you can easily forget about too.
Yeah.
You know, another one that's quiet because it's a lineman, and you don't think about it. But a first ballot Hall of Fame guy, first ballot, not even close.
No, you're absolutely. Like his bust is already in Canton. It's just a matter of what date they put on the end.
When he decides he wants when's enough. Ricky One, what's up, boys? Iverson's the best athlete by far since the 90s, but there's players that come close. Dawkins, Utley, Rollins, Giroux, just because he's most consistent, in my opinion, throughout his career when he's talking about Giroux. Yup, and Ricky, that's what we're talking about. You know, definitely up there. You know, Greg went with Rollins as his best, which is fine. You know, to me, it's a little deeper than just why Allen's easy for me. But, you know, and Danny. Ricky said Jason Peters for sure is up there.
Yeah.
Daniel goes kicker. That will get the kicking guys excited. Definitely get the kicking guys excited. Bill Middlebrook chiming in. I don't count Rocky.
Young King's got a good name, and we mentioned it before, right above Bill, Charles Barkley, and yeah, Young. You know, Charles was on my list, but because there's so many guys, I took him off only because, you know, he only was here for a couple years in the 90s. You know, if you talk about overall impact in Philadelphia, and if we were 85 and above, he might be number 3. You know, but yeah, I mean, I love Charles. He was incredible here.
This is where you start making it hard for us, Ricky.
I forget another one.
Bragg, right? I mean, you would bring out Runyon, Ricky.
Oh yeah.
Go with sidekick Trek.
Yeah.
Kelsey, a great name. Lane, a great name, right? So I mean, there's a lot of
it's
a lot of Eagles names that are quiet because offensive line wise, because his offensive line's had a ton of talent over the 80 years, and then obviously recently.
And what you also look for, and what we've all said, is the sustained success. Because of the Andy years, we were always there, and you always had a chance. Those rosters, for a lot of it, were kind of loaded. So you get lost. Like, I mean, a name hasn't been mentioned yet, but you look at a guy like Trotter. You know, you look at the back end with everyone says Dawkins, but look at like Lito and Sheldon. Like, those guys get lost because, yeah, they never got over the hump, but they all were there for a long period of time. So yeah, geez, it's whoo. It's crazy when you actually talk about and think about it.
Yeah, I mean, this list could get
because then you look at the Sixers, as we already pointed out, and it's there is so few Sixers from the 90s on.
That's embarrassing.
There's 2, and then if you count the puppies, there's 2 more.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this list is going to be difficult. And that's why I'm texting back to Ricky, you know?
Yeah. Nick was John Parks. Figuring where Cox Graham ranked would take some time to think in comparison with others. And he's absolutely right.
It's tough. Like, when I'm, like, thinking about, like, my top 5, right? I think about, in no specific order outside of AI, right? I think of Iverson. I think of Howard. Okay? I think of Donovan. And I know people aren't going to like that, but I think of Donovan.
McNabb's in my top 5 too.
I think of Dawkins. And now it comes down to Utley or Rollins for me in some fashion. or who
Rollins is better than Utley.
Yeah, I agree. Yes, people don't want to see that, and that's where I just left it there so we don't get too hot.
I don't care. People can come at me. I don't care. I mean, Chase Utley's a man, but he wasn't better than Jimmy Rollins. Hold on.
No, I don't think so, Danny. I don't think so either. Brian Daly. There's a few names that are out there: Dawkins, Iverson, Giroux, Leclerc, Desjardins, Lindros,
Desjardins.
All names up for debate. Yeah. Right.
You know, and if you go on that line, you know, you look at Desjardins, you look at Kimo Timonen, you know, you look at guys that have been there a while. One of the guys that I took off my list, but he was one of my personal favorites, but it didn't spend a lot of time here and it didn't spend his great years here, was like a guy like Peter Forsberg, you know, was here for a quick minute, but didn't necessarily break, you know, it wasn't his best years here, but he was just a personal favorite of mine, but he didn't make my list, but I had him listed down when I was going through names of guys that, you know, were in, you know, my necessarily potentially top 15, 20.
Yeah. Nicholas, well, Ricky said Siobhan Kirsten. You know, I do love the freak. Not here long enough, but I do love it. Little Gator talk. Parks, Troy Vincent, Peters, Trotter. Just so many to think about, and that's the thing. There's so many great names. So many great names. Mike Sirac says Ronick. Same thing. One of my faves to watch. Yup.
Yeah.
And that's going to tie into this a little bit too, boys. You know, is what guys did you love watching too?
Right.
You know, I mean, we talk about who the obvious names are, but then there's them sleeper names. Then there's a lot of them. Really, I mean, we were just talking Eagle sleepers. You know, there's some on the Flyers. The Sixers have zero.
Yeah, there's no sleepers. You know everybody on the Sixers.
Yeah, don't give me Clarence Weatherspoon. Don't spoon me. Don't Iguodala me. Don't Drew Holiday me.
I thought about putting Drew just because the listing for the Sixers was so direct. I thought about Drew.
No, because if I'm going to go Drew, I'm just going to then put Joe and Ben on it then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I'm going to go that route.
And that's what I did.
I'm just going to put the two guys that are better on there.
Yep.
And look at it and do it just like that. You know what I mean? But so our poll, Allen Iverson is the best Philly athlete since 1990. Do you agree or disagree? And then to piggyback on it, you know, I don't expect guys to write out books here, but, you know, feel free to add in your top 5 to 10 list for us as well, okay? So, you know, if you want to go to 15, go to 15. We're going about 15, 20. So feel free to follow us on that one as well. You know, put as many in as you want. If you want no order to them and just list as many as your fan favorites up to 15, do whatever you want to do in terms of that. But we're out here to read them off. We're going to talk some Eagles as well, especially another big move today. And Roby Coleman, who is a top 5 slot guy in this league. His Instagram handle, which makes it even better before we get into him. Like, I got to find him again. But his IG handle.
Mubarak Williams. I love the name Aaron McKee. I love it. Just not in my top 15. Maybe not my top 20, but I love the name. I think he's on the cusp of doing big things over there in Temple.
Better get a better offense, man. Temple's offense stinks.
No, they're bad, but it's also his first year. You know, he hasn't been able to.
No, I know.
You know, and I saw a couple games in person, and
me too. I went to a couple Temple games this year, and their offense is just.
They don't have a guard that can create.
Yeah.
They don't have a guard that can get off the dribble and create for either himself or somebody else. So they get stagnant, but you're right.
And if you look it up, it says Slot God.
Slot God. Yeah, Ryan just
what is it?
Slot God. So Ryan,
I love it.
I love it even more because it's like a guy who knows how good he is.
With his grill.
I want the
I love
swagger
his
in my
grill.
secondary. I need some swagger back there. I need guys that not only like we always talk about Jay on the corner, like thought he was real good, had this swagger of being real good, but was just a guy, right? Yeah. I need some guys back there that not only think they're really good, but are really good. Big fan of that.
Like I love what Will Park said.
And Slay and Coleman aren't going to shy away from bringing a lot of swagger and a lot of talking with them.
Absolutely.
Will Parks don't back nobody up.
Yeah, I love that. And then friggin' LeBlanc comes out and says, "I'm not changing my number."
No, Frenchie.
You might not even be here, so I'll pump your brakes.
Pinky's out, Frenchie.
You're gonna be here, but calm down. We're gonna get into Eagles in a few, but B-boy Stunner, Donovan McNabb, he's in my top 5. Absolutely in my top 5.
Me too.
And I think anybody that leaves him out of their top 5, it's a disgrace. And you're bringing in personal agenda into it and not just what you watched on the football field. What?
I got him 6. Is that okay?
Close. Yep, I'll give it to you.
Okay.
Sorry, if he's not in your top 10, to be fair. If he's not in your top 10, you're an agenda. You're an agenda cat. Fair?
I'll give you that.
Doesn't need to be in your top 5.
No we might have to dedicate another show to that one.
What,
we might. No, Young King 8 of 5.
What? I missed you.
How about the worst Philly player of all time?
Oh man, I could go on for days about all the process players.
I was thinking about that last night, Young King. Sorry, I was thinking about that last night. That'd be a great conversation. Who top 10 guys you love to boo? I think is the next one we do.
Ooh.
Top 10 guys you love to boo. That's a fun one because we love to boo. So I mean.
Yeah.
Name something better. I mean, we can name. I mean, top 10. We go top 10,000. Like, I mean, there's a list of booers of guys I love to boo. Even on sitting on my couch. Tristan Russo.
I just booed that guy that said Nick Foles. I booed him.
Yeah. Tristan Russo. Once again, thank you for keeping A2D going during this crazy time. A2D for life. Absolutely, brother.
Tris, thanks, buddy.
Keeps us going as well. David Robinson McNabb needs to be high up as well as some of the 2008 Phillies team. Yup. And that's what we were talking about. Ricky Golone says Markel Fulton is not even close. But you know what? The thing is, Ricky, now we would boo him. But when he was here, we coddled. We cheered for jumpers. So at the time, we didn't boo him. But now it's Rose City. But in the moment, we were nursing the baby on our team. Right?
Yeah.
Hey, good boy. Keep shooting. So, I mean.
I know I did.
I did. Hey. Me and Danny were like, we were going to buy him Chick-fil-A.
I was a huge Fultzer.
I was a huge Fulty, too. And listen,
that was the first son Tom sent back.
Yeah. He showed he could play it a little bit before the season.
Now we started to trend. Fultz, Odubel, Nelly. Like, now we're starting to trend.
Oh, man.
I'm giving away a lot of kids.
Hey, weird times. You gotta stop some of those payments.
Yeah, Brian Daly. Love booing Scott Rowland. Love booing Scott.
Oh, Scotty. Throwing batteries. Oh, JD Drew.
Drew was the battery.
Throwing batteries at JD Drew.
Young King says, or B-Boy Stunner, the Young King said, Aguilar. That escalated quickly. Yeah, look who's in the house, boy.
What up, PTP?
PTP in the house. What's good, brother? If you just joined us, fam, and you don't know the poll question, Allen Iverson is the best Philly athlete since 1990. Do you agree or disagree with that? And if you disagree, then who? Greg went Rollins.
I went Jimmy Rollins.
And me and Danny are team Cornrow. So that's where we differ here. Well, Ricky Goins said, well, if it's like that, I would say McNabb, he's up there on Bo's list. I got to show that one. Yeah. Good 50% of us, like, he was like my stepbrother through them years.
Yeah.
Right? And Andy, we called that. But, like, I don't know. I just remember Donovan when we first came up and how electrifying he was. Like, people forget that. They forget it. They talk about the passes into the dirt because they tried to make him a pocket QB. It's not who he was. He's a playmaker. As soon as he got hurt in that Arizona game, they tried to change who he was. We did as a fan base. We did. We didn't want him running anymore, right? We were trying to, keep a line in the cage. Like, you can't. You got to let guys go be who they are. If they get hurt, they get hurt. But you got to go let guys be who they are. And we sort of tried to make him into something he wasn't when he was just a flat-out playmaker. He was. We can look at all the extra. We can look at the smile and the throw up or whatever. the deflecting of stuff at times. We can look at that. But let's not ever forget how good he was. And every year, we were in the conversation of a Super Bowl contender. Every year.
No, you're absolutely right. You know, and it's there's nothing else to say because you're right.
TTP, I said, I got to go, but AI, but J-Roll was awesome. He said, I got to go AI, but J-Roll was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where, Greg, where Greg is.
Yeah.
1-2. Bill Middlebrook says, how about the 2008 World Series MVP? Was it Cole Hamels? Yeah, I'm not a Phillies guy. We're just thinking about the chips. No, and he's in the top 15.
Yes, it was Cole Hamels, yes.
Yes. Cole got the truck and all that fun stuff. Tristan Russo had a Lamb and Judy. Who would you prefer?
Yes,
Judy.
You're hearing me yell, it's Judy. I think this is a clean sleep right here, right, boys?
I'll go Lamb just to be different, but to me, I'm good with either.
Yeah, I'd be happy with either. I just like Judy better.
I do like Judy a lot, and I like Lamb a lot. I think they're 1A, 1B. So just to be different, I'll go Lamb.
My buddy Joe Moffitt put in the Real Sports Talk group, and you can find this on YouTube. You don't need the group for this, but just Judy highlights yesterday. Should have myself because I'm already all in. I watched him play a ton, so I didn't need the highlights at this point. And I clicked on them, and I said,
You're gonna put adoption papers in, and we don't even own them yet.
I might follow him. I'm not gonna be an Eagles fan, but I might follow Jared Judy. It's that much, and now I know we're not gonna get him because how bad I want him.
Yeah,
no shot we get him now. TTP Shady's up there too. He is. Listen, he's a scumbag. You don't tip. I know these baby mamas on the turnpike and shit. I know all that. But in pure talent, if he's not top 8 on your list, you're an agenda cat again. If he's not top 8, you're an agenda. Because he's a Hall of Famer. I know we argued this the other day. To me, he's a second ballot at worst Hall of Famer. At worst, second ballot.
You can take the kid out of Harrisburg. You can't take the Harrisburg out of the kid.
Hey, where would you rank like Shady? Is Shady in your top 10?
Yeah, I mean he's an all-time Eagles leading rusher. He's got to be at least top 10. You can put him 10 to 15 at the lowest, but
yeah, I have him just outside by 10. Literally just outside. He's 11.
He's just outside your 10.
Yeah, he's got to be top 12 at least.
Yeah, he's on there. Bill Middlebrook puking on the field. LOL. Should have won that effing game against the Pats. It was nice to beat them in 52. Listen, I understand the extra with Donovan. I get it, but you can't run from the talent. We're talking about talent, on-field talent, transcending an organization. If we draft Ricky Williams that day, okay, or any other one of them quarterbacks, this organization goes the opposite direction on where they went for that 8 to 10 year stretch. They go in a complete different direction. So we never talk about that. So think about that, the direction that franchise is in if Donovan McNabb's not the quarterback. And we go Ricky Williams or we go one of the other crumbs in that draft. Because Dante Culpepper is just a guy. So don't give me Dante Culpepper. Just a guy. I could have thrown the Moss and Chris Carter. Just to clarify.
Tim Couch.
Yeah, Couch. So everybody that's anti-Donovan, and I understand the extra, but on the field, the Duke of ball. And before they tried to condense him into the pocket, all right, was electric. Electric. And when he got a receiver for 1 year, we finally got over the hump. 1 year.
Yeah.
He didn't have a problem throwing the ball when he had a number 1, did he?
Achilles Smith.
Oh, that would have transcended us.
You mentioned Dante. Cade McNown.
1 in 15.
Those are the other 4 first round or 5 first round quarterbacks.
Culpepper 6 and 10, 7 and 9ish. A lot of that. This for my Donovan haters. Because if it's the other way, and we don't have them too, we stink every year. We stink. We're like Rich Kotite coach teams.
Oh my God.
Stink. I understand we didn't get over the hump, but the guy gets crushed in the city for extra stuff that doesn't matter to me. He won a ton of football games here. a ton. So if Dalton gets all the love, why doesn't Don get love? Because Don should be a first ballot Hall of Famer because it's bigger than just on-field production too, right? It's an African American quarterback, and it's before Vic. Randall set it all up, but Donovan was the guy. Everybody in the Vic documentary talk about, oh, Vic. No, it wasn't. You don't remember who came before him? He didn't have the 4.4 speed, but he was running a 4.6.
And if you remember in that documentary,
wasn't Vic drafted before McNabb?
No, after.
Yeah.
I thought Vic was 96.
No,
Vic called McNabb at practice after his sophomore year to ask him whether he should enter the draft. I'm looking it up now, Dan.
No,
you might be right. Because McNabb was what, 98, 99?
99.
I think 2004.
They drafted was 2000.
Who, Vic?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know why I thought 96.
Or whatever. Then maybe I'm a little off. But them two should be talking about together in changing it for the guys like Lamar Jackson and Russell Wilson and the likes, right?
Yeah, but McNabb was always the better quarterback of those two, and still is. And I love Mike, but he doesn't hold McNabb's quarterback ability. And to that point, McNabb doesn't hold Vic's athleticism.
Chrome's right, too. Chrome's like, I never understood why that defense doesn't get any of the blame for Super Bowl 39 loss. All the idiots who feed into the lazy narratives. And then remember the NFC title game against Arizona where Donovan Donovan drove us down. We took the lead. The defense in 2 minutes let's go to length of the field. And I didn't hear nothing about Doak or anybody else in that game. I just heard about Donovan again.
That game still scars me to this day.
That's the one that gets me.
About 3 first-half touchdowns to Larry Fitzgerald.
And I think we go beat Pittsburgh too, Dan.
I agree. Well, I don't know if you remember, we beat Pittsburgh that regular season. We held them like 3 points at home or some shit. Yeah.
Did we smoke them or did we just beat
it was a little low-scoring game, but I think we won like 15-6. It was like real low scoring, but we completely shut their offense down. Like, I think we would have beat them too.
Yeah, I wasn't scared. It's not like you had to go. We're going up against the Patriots.
Yeah, that Cardinals game still hurts me.
Bill says
Bill's on your train. Might as well say it one more time to speak it into ninth pick Jerry Jeudy the Eagles.
He's been on it too. I mean, he's been on that. Vic almost replaced McNabb at Syracuse before he chose Virginia Tech. Yup, I remember seeing that in the documentary. Eileen says she never liked Vic. Such an asshole.
Yeah, I mean, off the field stuff, yeah. You know,
he changed.
There's no question about it. I don't disagree with you there.
Anthony is on. He's on the McNabb is still fat game. So there's there's the agenda there. And Longy, probably enjoying Pornhub. Kobe's the best Philly athlete. No, because he's not a Philly athlete. He doesn't count for major sports. He didn't play for the Sixers unless I missed that. So I know people are going to throw Kobe in there. I'll go to war, even if you put Kobe on the list, and tell you Iverson was more impactful. And for the city, he sure as hell was. TTP says, I've been watching Breaking Bad for the first time. I'm 4 seasons deep. Awesome show. Yes, it is. And we're going to get into what everybody's been doing through the quarantine situation. And Breaking Bad is a phenomenal show.
Never got into it.
Me neither.
Pete Evans, Cunningham, Iverson, McNabb, Simmons. I like that list.
Russell Simmons?
Anthony Will Chamberlain's the best Philly athlete. That's fun if we weren't doing 1990 and up.
Yeah.
Here, let me put the poll back up for the fact.
Reading is hard.
Very difficult. So I'm going to put it back up. Now, that's Philly athlete since 1990. Agree or disagree? Let us know, and then we're going to be diving in and talking about the Eagles here in a few minutes as well. So stay with us, and we want to know, what have you been doing? What's your quarantine activity been? Been a lot of Xbox, PlayStation? Are you catching up on some new shows? What do you got going on? So let us know that as well. And Eileen, keeping the real talk flowing. Kobe didn't play in Philly, which is all truth. and she said she totally agrees with the poll. Iverson was the best. That's why Eileen's smart, unlike Greg. And Breaking Bad is an all-time great. Season 3 is slow at the beginning, but business picks up after. Yup, definitely does. Chrome wants to know, no Rodney Buford or Sleety Claxton?
Oh, my goodness.
The
sheriff, Rodney Buford.
They weren't able to cut it.
Oh, Speedy. So much hype out of Hofstra.
I know.
Agree, Bill. Kobe, R.I.P., but never really had anything to do with Philly after the Lakers. He didn't play here. Absolutely.
No, he didn't play.
And we said that early. Like, as much as we all love Kobe, but first portion of his career and almost most of his career, he distances himself from Philly. He didn't even associate with it anymore.
No, that's spot on. He didn't want no parts of it for a minute. So, it is what it is on them terms. But to get in, and you can still give us your list. Still feel free to give us your list and your guys. But we want to segue into a little Eagles conversation now. And
can I give my list?
Yeah, please.
So I'll go 15 through 11 right now. So my 15 is a combo. It's Aaron Rowe and Jim Thome. And I know they don't – and the reason they're comboed is because they set the stage and the mentality of what that 2018 started to be. Aaron Rowe with that catch and Jim Thome speaking to the fans and to the city and opening Citizens Bank Park.
Oh, Eileen's crazy. Oh, my God.
Ain't wrong.
Yeah. Are they top 15 talent-wise and longevity? No. But for me, from an impact standpoint, I think they helped set up that run for 2008. So that's why they're there for me.
All right.
And then in 14, I put the three puppies together. Embiid, Simmons, and Carson.
I like that.
Okay.
13, I have Cole Hamels. 12, I have Ron Hextall. And 11, I have LaShawn McCoy.
So agenda.
What?
Agenda. You don't have McCoy in your top 10. I think it's a disgrace.
He would be 10, but if you know who I have 10, I did it for a reason. Dutch is 10. I made Dutch 10 just to honor Dutch.
McCoy's over him.
In your list. This is my list, Daniel.
I know, but
no, but you're right. But when I was going around, I'm like, oh, it just works out perfect that Dutch is 10. So
I hear you giving it to Dutch. I'm out there with you, but I love Dutch.
But I grew up as a catcher, so like Dutch was my guy. You know what I mean? That's all I watched was Dutch.
Here's one for you. Did you all like Cliff Lee? I'll answer that. Nope.
I did until he blew a 4-0 lead, making $25 million.
I am anti-Cliff Lee.
There's a guy I'd boo every time and twice on Sunday.
Would boo the hell out of him.
I would be me and you would be the only ones in Citizens Bank Park, maybe booing the hell out of him.
Boo city.
I'm pissed because of Game 2 against the Cardinals, but why else would you boo him?
Because of that.
But it's like, all right, whatever. It's one game.
But you're getting paid $25 million.
No, I know.
Then he took the contract, got hurt, and which is a crumb. Just felt like a crumb to me.
Yeah.
Like a crumb. I like crumbness to him. And after that game, when you're supposed to be one of my aces, and you give up a 4-0 and you blow a 4-0 lead. All right.
Yeah.
Yep. Don't even get on the plane. Anthony, how is McCoy overrated? Like how? Did you watch with these? Because anybody that watched with these isn't going to throw overrated when they talk about LaShawn McCoy. So it's an agenda. Were you the waiter he didn't tip?
You watching Chuck's videos?
Yeah. You and Chuck sharing a room? Westbrook up together? TTP says now and Cliff Lee.
Yes.
Tristan, I guarantee at the end of his contract, Harbaugh will be an all-time favorite Philly athlete. Absolutely.
He's already
here. I wanted to.
Joey Moffitt, what's up, brother? It says, where's Brian Dawkins landed on your list? And to me, he's in the top 5.
2.
He's in the top 5, maybe 2 or 3.
He's number 2 for me.
I got him 4.
But he's right up there, you know. Yeah. So I want to segue into obviously some Eagles, and obviously the addition of Roby Coleman today, and what that means for this defense, and the pressure now that's going to lie on Howie Roseman to address. What'd you say?
No, I was just reading TTP's comment. Sorry. Yes, that was Papelbon.
Oh man, that fucking loser. I hate him.
My guy.
There's a guy, boo.
Fuck him.
Love myself some Pop. Love myself some Pop.
Yeah, you would.
So, Roby Coleman, huge addition. Okay, makes it secondary when you talk about, you know, how deep it is now. I mean, we can really have that conversation. You know, coming in, you would say 3 weeks ago, it was bleak back there. It was ugly. Bermuda Triangle. And 2 additions now of some vets in Slay and Coleman. And I want to just get your thoughts on where you think this defense right now ranks out and where you see them starting the year if it does start on time. As a top 5, a top 10, a top 15, how you sort of feeling this defense out right now?
Well, I said to you last week, Tom, that I could very well see this being a top 10 defense. And this is before we signed Roby Coleman. So now that we signed him, I'm starting to get like these, at least like not saying as a team yet, 'cause you got to wait till see how it comes along. But defensively, like remember in 2017, you had Patrick Robinson just locking down the slot. If you can throw slot God in there, and then you can have your rotation, your elite defensive line rotation again with now you got Hargrave, you got Jackson coming back. Like this defense could be really filthy.
Yeah, I don't know if I can necessarily rank them super high just because we have no idea what's going on in the middle of that field. Do I think aspects of this defense are improved? Absolutely. I love what they did with Hargraves and being able to bolster that defensive line. Bringing back Ridgeway, Hargraves, Cox. You know you're going to draft somebody else. You know what I mean? You know, if we go out and add some other pieces like in Njoku and some of these things, then yeah, that defensive line is top. The secondary is very much coming around. I love the addition of Slay. Roby Coleman was great today, as you both have pointed out. We're still unsure of what Jalen's going to look like as a safety. You know, we all hope he can fill in and be good there, and I think he will be, but we're just unsure. So, and then when you factor in that Nate Gary is our only linebacker on the roster right now, that is anything more than
TJ Edwards.
That is anything more than a special teamers.
No, because the guy who got from the Chargers is more than a special teamer. I mean, you don't get 90 tackles on special teams.
Yeah, but he didn't play for a year. He was hurt last year.
No, I understand that. But the year before he had 90, and the year before that he had like 80 something. So it's like I'm saying, at least it's like you got to make the case there's 2. But how good are the 2 is the conversation, Greg.
Right.
And there's just 1. There's 2 guys who have NFL experience. Essentially, how good are they? Nobody knows. So that's a position that's weak. I agree with you there. So I'll buy into thinking we need another linebacker. Absolutely. But go ahead. Sorry. That's all.
That was the end of my spiel was just, you know, with a hole at linebacker essentially, because you're right. We don't know what they look like. We know what Gary is, and he's not good, or he's not great. At least he's average at best. And we don't know what this other guy is. So I love TJ Edwards because he's a Wisconsin guy, and you know all they do is tackle, but he didn't see the field much last year. So, you know, what are we doing in that linebacker spot before I can sit there and say that this is a top 5 or top 10 defense? Do I think they could get there? There's no question, because the two ends, the line and the back, are drastically improved.
Big time. And
Greg, you were saying we don't know what Mills will look like. I like the idea of what they're talking about. Matching up against a slower receiver, that's when you can play Mills at corner, and that's where a guy like Will Parks comes in. He can play back, or he can play up. He was talking about he can fill the Malcolm Jenkins role. He can play up in the box. Like there's so much versatility on this defense.
No, and you're right on that aspect. And even with the Roby Coleman, he's an upper echelon cornerback. But not only that, it just adds depth, right? We don't have to rely on, we hope Sidney pans out, right? Or we hope Avante pans out. How about we just hope one of them pans out instead of needing them both to pan out? You know what I'm saying? So I love those additions and the depth that they present. And you're right; it allows you to do a whole bunch of different things.
No, it does. It absolutely does. And what I think it does, like when you talk about Mills back there, and we don't know what I think you're going to see, and I could be completely wrong, but I think you're going to see more of Rodney up in the box a little bit more. More of that Malcolm role. And I think you're going to see a lot more Jalen being able to play sort of center fielder and be able to allow some ball skills to happen. And, you think he'd be able to get sideline to sideline, a little bit faster too. So more of a cover guy where Rodney's not as much of a cover guy. So I think that's going to help on the back end. Anytime you go and how important covering the slot guy is in this league, you can go out and get a guy that's a proven slot corner, right? I think it's gigantic for this football team. And like we were talking about earlier, already with the addition of Slay, if Sidney's my other outside guy, but at least with Coleman and Slay, I'm getting two guys that are confident. They're not just swagger guys. They're legit, so better players at their position. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited about some proven guys back there finally. And then when you talk about McLeod back, which I love, same thing. Now I can allow Sidney Jones to be my outside guy now. Like I can allow that to happen because of what I have in Coleman and Slay. I can give that. I can attempt to allow him to go be the guy I draft him to be. If it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out. But at least early on, I can give him that opportunity.
I think it's Avante's job to lose on the outside, but I think he'll definitely have the opportunity, Sidney will, to win it in camp.
Avante's a good name. I just thought they really liked him in the slot. I think they sort of like bigger outside guys, but it doesn't mean that he's not, up to win the outside job. I don't know what direction they're going to go there, but
I think in 2018 he had a lot of success there. On the outside.
On the outside? Listen.
He's been all over the place. He's played safety. He's played inside. He played outside. He's played all over the place. It's just, now he's going to have to find a home somewhere. But
good to have, though. Little Swiss Army.
Yeah. Those two names that you had on that Joey Tadaro comment, the Patrick Queen or Kenneth Murray. I would lean Kenneth Murray if I was given the choice, but I'd take either. The two linebackers, Patrick Queen's from LSU. Kenneth Murray is from Oklahoma. Yes, please, both of them, but I don't know if we trade up where I think you have to do to get Murray. If you trade up, you're more than likely trading up for a wide receiver. Mm-hmm. Just my thought.
Yeah, you're not trading up for anything else than a wide receiver at this point. I just don't see how you're going up for any other position and selling it to anybody in this fan base. TTP, I love that we don't have to talk about the running back position this offseason.
Yes, wow, sir.
And it's only going to get better. Yup, TTP. And then you address that other running back, later on in the draft. You address the change of pace back. You're right, a little more powerful of a guy. And you address that there just to have three backs, But besides that, it's exciting to know we don't have to draft one in the first or second round. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Big time. Where else was that? Spidey chiming in. What's up, brother? He said, late on the Iverson poll, Iverson and Vic tied for the best athletes to both play for Philly from Newport News, Virginia. And Vic's a good name. Vic's a great name. Great name.
I was actually going to say this earlier. Imagine, that 2010 year he had with Andy Reid, Vic did. Can you imagine if he had Andy his whole career? How much better of a quarterback he would have been? Yup,
and if he was just, humbled earlier,
Yeah.
He had some more – they didn't have to be that drastic of a humble. You know what I mean? but if he was just humbled a little bit earlier on in his career, because the injury really didn't humble him.
Right.
Nothing seemed to like humble him early on because he's so naturally gifted. That was a crazy thing. Like, he'd get away with not having to study anything.
Yeah.
Because he can make plays out of nothing. He was a guy who didn't need a playbook. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was the opposite of a playbook. Like, hey, go out, run around all over the place, throw a ball 75 yards in the air. And then you saw that one year with McCoy, D-Jax. Woo! That offense, that was explosive. And Jeremy Macklin, too. And man, that offense was explosive.
Yeah, 2010, that was a fun year. That offense was very fun.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm sorry, I was a little bit wrong, naturally, right? The latest mock I just saw, Murray, they have Murray and Queen going late first. I thought Murray was a mid first. So they would be available at 21 or a trade back in the round if you wanted to go linebacker first round. But we obviously know the Eagles don't value the linebacker position because we have 2 on our roster right now.
3.
Yeah, no, listen, the ongoing thing of not valuing stuff. I understand it doesn't matter as much to them as it does everybody else. I get it. All right, I'm so sick and tired of the no-name guys that you're going to try to tread through here. So you're going to go do all this work, right, to upgrade your secondary. All this work, which I love. He deserves a ton of credit for, right? To be able to do this in one off season, ton of credit, okay? But you can't just neglect shit. So, and then you're going to what? You're going to draft a guy in the top, in the first 4 rounds at some point and expect him to be an impact guy? You can't. Because, one, I can't trust you to do it. Because in the past, you've struggled with it. So the guy out there, Littleton, was out there to be had. They didn't want to do it. And listen, I get the money side of it. But you just got Roby Coleman and Slay, and you're paying them a combined $4.3 million this year. Okay? So it's not like you're overpaying for anything. So you had a chance to go out there. How much better? We talk about where this defense ranks. 10, 15, and top, right? Right now. Well, if you got Corey Littleton to this defense, I'm talking about top 5. I'm talking about I'm yelling. Everybody's in quarantine. Everybody's stuck in their house. And they're just hearing me off my back yelling, top 5, top 5, for anybody that can hear it.
And yeah, you could actually rank them. You're right, because they would have some sort of a semblance of a linebacking core.
Not even a semblance. You got a Pro Bowler back there.
Yeah.
Who didn't get overpaid. The Raiders, Mike Mayock ain't a smart guy. Like, I'll take anybody Mike Mayock signs. Like, anybody. Or drafts. Like, I'll buy into that guy.
Right, I agree. Mike Mayock's a man.
And it's like he signed for nothing with Vegas. Nothing.
Yeah, essentially, you're right.
No, and we could easily give him that money, and he's young, too. And he's a playmaker. He's a 120 tackle cat. And you still could have got Slay and Coleman and been fine. And now you're talking about defense at the top 5 because you already know how great the front is. And you tell me you couldn't sell Littleton to come here with this front in front of him where linebackers love great tackles? Because it's going to – now, if there's incentives in that deal, he's going to make more because he might have 150 tackles.
and if you go back to our 2017 team, those defensive backs and even those linebackers, they didn't blow anybody up. They weren't great, but because our line was so good and got so much pressure on the quarterback, it overshadowed the fact that they weren't all Pro Bowlers and all top-end guys because they didn't have to cover for 4, 5, 6, 7 seconds. They had to just cover the first move, and then more likely the quarterback was on his back.
No, you're right. You're right. Sorry, Spidey. I was reading Spidey talking about the first play against Washington was legendary.
Yeah.
And Vic, yep. Marquise says, sorry, if Howie whiffs in the draft at receiver, 33-year-old Deshaun Jackson is our primary guy.
Preach, brother.
Yep. With a lot of pressure on himself to get it right. Joey Tordero, did you read this one?
No, not this one.
Linebacker Akeem Davis from Appalachian State would be a great option in the second round. He's capable of playing any linebacker spot. It's a great name, brother.
Yeah, great. If you're a three-name cat, I'll take you.
Yeah, absolutely. Ryan talking about his top 5: Iverson, Utley, Howard, Dalk, McNabb. I think that's exactly no, because I have Rollins, not Utley. So that's me and Ryan are different, but our top 5 is very similar. Nobody yell at me, Bill. Bill says nobody yell at him. We're 2 4s and a future first to the Jags to swap picks and DJ Chark, then draft Judy. Let's go. No. I'll give the Jaguars. See, you can go 2 different ways here, right? So if you don't want to trade up for Judy, fine. Then you got to go this way. Then you got to call Jacksonville. You got to say, I'll give you 3 firsts, a 3rd, and a 5th, and I want Yannick and Chark back. That's it. That's it. I'll give you all that for them too. They're not gonna do that deal.
3 firsts.
They're not gonna sign Yannick back. They're not.
Thank God he's not running our organization.
No,
3 firsts, bro.
Huh?
3
for one guy who's 22 and one who's 24. The 22-year-old wide receiver just had 1,000 yards last year, or Gardner freaking Minshew. Okay.
Yeah, but 3, dude.
3. You want playmakers. So listen, if you think about it like this, right? That's 3 firsts. So if Chark and Yannick are 2 first-round picks, that means I was 2 for 3 on hitting first-round picks. That's a pretty good thing that Howie's not pretty good at. So I'm guaranteeing you that. I'm helping Howie keep his damn job longer. Because you can say they're first-round hits, right?
No, yeah, I understand your logic.
That's all. I'm not saying it's realistic.
No, right, yeah.
But then it's like I don't have to worry about wide receiver in the first round then because I just went and got one.
We wouldn't have a first round.
That's my point, though, but I won't have to worry about it because I just went out and got one.
No, I got you there.
I don't know if you guys saw the what's his face's latest mock draft. What the fuck's his name? Mel Kiper. He had Judy going 13, Ruggs going over Lamb at 15, and then Lamb at 17. Like if that was real, if that was the case, like trading with 13 is not that difficult. Like to go grab a guy like Judy.
No, and we talked about that Sunday. We kind of said that 9 to 11 spot if you want to go up and get whatever your choice is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that kind of feeds right into that mock and a couple other mocks I've seen because you're right. That 11, 12, 13, they start coming off the board there.
You're right. That's why if you get up to 8, you solidify. You guarantee yourself.
Because even the earlier mocks had them going in the top 10. Now all the later ones have them all going from like 10 to 15, which is like shocking to me because, I mean, we're at 21. Like that is not like that's very realistic to trade up now. Like I was thinking originally, oh yeah, there's no way we trade up. We'll probably just sit at 21, take a guy like Mims or Jefferson. But now if these guys are going to drop a little bit because you see the Cardinals, they got Hopkins and the Bills got Diggs. They were teams that could potentially have drafted a receiver in the first round.
Absolutely.
So now this pushes everybody back. Like I didn't for the longest time I did not think trading up was realistic, but now I do. Like,
yeah, I think it's right there to be had, Danny. You're right because like I think early on, if you're talking to me about having to go get Judy's top 5 talent in this draft.
Yeah, we were saying that early. You're right. We were saying early on. You got to get top 5.
Yeah, now I feel like I can get up to 8. Because Arizona is probably going to want to get out of there because they just gave up stuff for DeAndre. So they
reload a little bit.
They'll stay in the first round because you're giving them 21. So it's not like they're moving out of the first. So you give them 21, you throw them a 3rd, and they'll probably swap spots with you in a heartbeat. Or not just a 3rd, but maybe you might have to give them a 3rd and like another 3 down the road or a 2 down the road. Mm-hmm. You know, a 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. You can't get up to 8. You absolutely can. It doesn't have to be in this year's draft. Your 2nd can be next year. So you give them a 1st this year, 2nd next year. They would. I mean, because they don't. You know, I'm not saying they definitely do it, but it's enough. Marquis says just go sign Nigel and draft one in the 4th. I guess just draft a linebacker within the first 4 picks. I have no problem with Nigel coming back on like a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
Trevor Harris's Cardinals need O-line help badly, Tom. Well, you know what, Trevor? If the Eagles would have signed Big V back, right? If they just would have signed Big V back and just given him the money, they could have then used that in leverage for a deal to get up here. They could have. Or they could have just kept them and had a Swiss Army knife on their O-line instead of Matt freaking Pryor. Like, we better not see it. But that could have been part of the deal because everybody needs tackle. The whole league needs tackle. So you telling me if you didn't have Vitae, if you still had Vitae and you signed him, you couldn't use him as leverage to get up to 8 with Arizona? Absolutely could have.
That's where most mocks had them drafting now because they don't need a wide receiver.
Yeah.
They're going O-line. They're going to kid from Alabama, most likely.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it's like, you could have used that. Go to there, and now on mock drafts, you see the top 10 looking like 3 QBs, young. Yup. And then 3 or 4 O tackles. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Eileen, is Kelsey leaving? Not yet.
I think it's his last year, though.
I agree, Dan. I think this is where it comes to an end.
They should draft that kid from Temple, the center from Temple, Matt Hennessy. He works out with Kelsey in the offseason. I think he's supposed to be like a 3rd or 4th round pick, though. I don't know if they take a center in the 3rd round.
Does he play other positions? I don't know the name. Does he play like guard or anything? Or is he strictly a center?
He's always played center for Temple.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if they might, because you're right. Kelsey has hinted at this for the last 3 years. So sooner or later, it's going to be done.
I could have reached, I don't know, he might not be a 3rd round pick, but I mean, if you could grab a guy like Hennessy in the 4th round, I would go for it.
You can never have too much. You can never have enough offensive line, as we've noticed.
Mm-hmm. No, you never can have too much. Never have too much. Not even it. That's why they draft so many. You know what I mean? That's why they draft so many. Chuck says Howie's not going to trade up anymore. Not after the Slade trade. Still other needs on this team that need to be filled with young prospects. If you trade up, then you've only got 5-6 picks left. He's more likely to trade back than up at this point, and that's a disgrace.
I mean, it's not like 6 isn't a decent amount.
I mean, if I go up,
but when you don't hit on any like Howie,
yeah, no, that's true. Like I said, I'm cool with sitting at 21. I really don't care. I love Jefferson. Like, I love Jefferson a lot, so I'm cool with sitting at 21.
Yeah, I like Jefferson. I mean, the more I try to sell myself on Jefferson, the more I can sell him. You just don't catch 111 balls in the SEC,
mm-hmm.
right? And just be a guy.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I mean, I'm all judied up, but
me too. Yeah.
If I landed on Jefferson, I wouldn't be punching walls. I wouldn't. I know it'd be a little bit of adjustment, but guess what? We all talk about what we need. We got to hope JJ has a pulse because you're drafting him in the damn 2nd round. Right. So everybody, we got to go draft the other ones. No, we got to hope the guy on our roster gets better too. That's huge here. Huge. Because I don't think Howie's going to draft 2 of them early. I think he's going to draft 1 early because he's going to think that JJ is going to take a step. We're going to find out.
G Ward, baby.
I'm not ready to say, that JJ's never going to have an impact or can't be a good wide receiver down the road. But I'm going off year 1.
Absolutely.
So I don't want to write the kid off yet, but it doesn't look good. But I don't think he's going to draft 2 of them for that reason. And I do like Greg Ward, Danny. It's a great name. I don't expect him to
I think he's your starting slot receiver.
I think he's hungry. Yeah, I think he's a great slot guy. He caught the ball, so nobody else caught the ball. So it's cheap, right? It's cheap. You keep him on there, but you need a 1.
No doubt.
And you need to go take care of your damn quarterback.
Well, a lot of people,
because they're loading up defensively, which is going to help Carson too. But you got to go get him as 1 somewhere, somehow. I
mean, everyone wants to talk about speed. You also just need good freaking receivers. Like, Jefferson ain't the fastest guy in the world. He's still around a 4.4 though, like a 4.4 though, and a lot of scouts have him as the 2nd best route runner in the class of receivers. So I mean, it's not just about speed. Like, you need guys who can get the hell open.
Exactly.
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
Like, I would take Jefferson over Ruggs, and people will probably call me crazy, and I would, because the production's there. Ruggs is explosive. We know this, but it's like, why argue with Wilson over Judy over Ruggs? Like, both on the same team. The one guy caught twice as many balls. It's like we know who the better guy is. So it's the same thing with like Jefferson. Like Jefferson's on-field production is way better than Ruggs' on-field production. It's not even close. Mm-hmm. But the 4.2 gets everybody going crazy and he jumps draft boards. Not saying he's not talented, but Jefferson did more in college. Numbers.
Let me know if this sounds like stupid. Like, I feel like Ruggs is like a guy you add to your offense when you already have like a complete offense almost. I'm not saying the Eagles don't, like, because it's really just receiver that is our weakness. Like, other than that, it is. But I mean, like, if you have two other legit receivers, you throw in a guy like Ruggs. I feel like we need like a foundational piece on the outside. You can't just rely on Ruggs.
No, you need that number one, that guy who can have 8-10 catches a game. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You need that kind of guy. Marquise says Aguilar caught 104 for 13. 12. I hate our luck drafting wide receivers. You're right.
It's the Pac-12, though.
It is the Pac-12.
Yeah, but at least it was the right school in the Pac-12. If you're going to draft wide receivers in the Pac-12, you normally draft USC. Just we always hit the wrong one.
Derek Walters believes Lamb is going to be the best wide receiver in this draft. That's the guy we need. Yeah, I mean, I hear you. I like Lamb a lot, brother. I'm just judied up. I just don't – he is the best receiver in this draft. Like that, like everybody, like Lamb could be, but I feel like everybody, if you had a gun to your head on draft day and you said, better not miss on this one, then don't you miss on it. You're drafting Judy. I think everybody would. If the can't miss guy, I think it's Judy. I love Lamb's upside too, though. I mean, Lamb's a stud. So it's like if I draft the Lamb, I'm not going to be pissed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not going to be pissed. That's the great thing about it. We're in a desperate need for wide receiver. This draft has a ton of wide receivers.
Eileen, Jason Kelsey's 32. I saw that comment earlier.
Yeah, I didn't know that off the top of my head. So he's not old, but he's not young either. But it's just the wear and tear, wear and tear on the body. TTP, would you all consider trading back for Jalen Rieger, out of TCU? Because that normally TTP, I would tell you sure. I would say, yeah, no problem. Right, if I had any other fucking GM in football, I would tell you, sure. Right, I'll take a chance. I can't trust this guy. I know guys like Mims. I know Chuck was talking about Mims earlier. How he likes Mims. I know my brother Ike Reese was talking about Mims earlier on how he likes Mims. I get it. I like Mims too. I can't trust the guy making a decision to like Mims. This is why I've been so judied up, because I know you can't miss it if you draft him.
Yeah.
And Pete said he was talking about your first this year and your second next year for McCaffrey. I don't even need a damn wide receiver.
And I'm done.
I don't need a wide receiver. I don't need one.
Maybe we finally draft a linebacker.
Us three, Ertz, Goddard, Miles, McCaffrey. I'm good.
Us three.
Us three. Just us three. Well, and listen, we're probably going to catch 100 balls combined because look at all the spacing we're going to
get. Next to me, Zach Ertz will look like he gets a lot of yards after catch.
Yeah. Well. KJ Hamler. I like KJ.
I like KJ a lot.
Yeah, he's the end of he's in that second tier with Jefferson and and Mims and the kid out of Rieger and the kid out of Arizona State. Those guys are all jumbled in that second tier. They're very good. They all have pieces that make them, top end, but they're not the top three.
Agree. They're more second round guys, right? The only thing Hamler's more of a second round guy.
No, Hamler's definitely a second round guy.
Yeah.
So I mean,
so like to Sue's point about trading back for Rieger, then why don't you just trade back to early second round and draft like a Hamler or something like that? You know what I mean? You could do the same thing there. But to me, if I'm drafting back for defense. If I'm drafting up or staying put, I'm going offense and wide receiver. That's my thought.
Good
night, Eileen.
Good night, Eileen. Tavon Austin was taken before D-Hop. This shit
gonna go get fucked.
This shit is a tight ball. Oh my god. Oh my God! Comment of the night. Shit is a dice roll. This is why you have to get a vet in free agency who has proven NFL reps, or you get J-Jaw with 10 catches. Isn't it comical? Like, we can laugh this much about our front office and the inability that to address a wide receiver position. The inability where you just gave your quarterback a ton of fucking money and you got nobody out there. You got D-Jax, Greg Ward, who we like, and JJ. That's right now what we have, because there's nothing on the market that's even going to be an upgrade for this football team. Nothing. Perriman wasn't anyway, and Robbie Anderson wasn't anyway. Just for a news flash to the people. Both are just guys. They're not proving it nothing. They ain't proved nothing. So neither one of them would have did it for me. There wasn't that wide receiver out there, really. That was that, this is going to be a game changer this year. That's why there's so much onus on having to go hit it in the draft.
Yeah. Nicholas John Parks, thanks for jumping on, pal. Appreciate it. I was scrolling Twitter before we hopped on, and it seems like the possibility of a Rasul Douglas, Dante Pettis swap could be made. I wouldn't hate Pettis, but it doesn't do anything for me, though. You know,
Chuck's brought that up.
Who the fuck wants Rasul Douglas?
I'm just saying what I saw on Twitter.
I mean, John Lynch is smart. Like, I feel like John Lynch would know better from being a D-back in his career than want any parts of Rasul Douglas.
He does, though, fit their mold of what they look for in a big, tall, rangy type of quarterback. So, you know.
He's fucking slow, though. He's so slow.
But, you know, Richard Sherman's not fast, though, either, and he made a Pro Bowl, though. You know what I'm saying? And he was coming off an injury, so maybe it's that system that allows those guys to not be great, you know, physically and skill-wise and still be productive. Who knows?
Crum, I would love that. I love Geronimo Allison.
Yeah, it's a great name, Crum.
For the name.
It's a great name, Crum. Great find. Great find.
I didn't realize he was still out there. Or I didn't realize he was a free agent at all.
I didn't think he was either.
I would take him in a heartbeat. I like him.
Anthony A said, I'm upset Nick Foles went to Chicago.
The Chicago's upset now that Cam Newton's on the market.
Could just got rid of Mitchell, just brought in Newton. Not that I'm a Cam guy, but he's better than Mitchell.
He's better than all three of their backups they have there.
TTP, Nelson Aguilar was a fucking first rounder.
Yep.
Go Middlebrook. If this fucker doesn't take a receiver first, I'm going to smash my 75-inch flat screen when I throw it out in the fucking street.
Nice humble brag there at the big TV.
Yeah, no, I like it.
I ain't mad at it, Bill.
Ryan says Rasul Douglas for a conditional seventh. Let's go. Yeah, it's about
exactly.
Marquis says Douglas is the president of the Double Move Club. Yeah. CEO, operator, founder, him and Jalen. Jalen double moved in the back though. I think Jalen's going right where he should be. He's going home, and I think he's going to have he's going to really transition well into that safety position. I really, truly believe that one. Cron said he saw his name floated out there earlier. Yeah, it's just confirmed. He said, just confirmed, Allison is a free agent. Go get him, Howie. Go get him, Hal.
Yeah, I would like that a lot.
A good name. Again, he's still got
to that's a typical Howie move. He loves that low risk, high upside signing anyway. I mean, that's what he's been doing for years.
Yeah. And that's where, if you're right, Tom, why would anybody want Rasul in a trade situation? But I think that's the type of trades where, to Danny's point with those low-level free agents, those kind of change of scenery type of deals and player for player of low impact and value is where kind of Howie does make some magic at times.
No, you're right. And it doesn't, I'm not like, that's not a bad move, but then you're in this same conversation every year, right? If you don't go address it and get a number one for years to come.
Oh, you're absolutely correct on that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think signing Allison stops you from even trying to trade up and get a Judy. Like, it just
no, I'm not talking about that. If you don't address it this year, forget Allison. I love Allison. I like Allison. It's a great name. Bring Allison in too. But if you don't address it this year, conversation next year,
right?
Conversation the following year. So it's like, I know Chuck's saying you don't want to give up these picks and you got holes to address. Well, your biggest hole is wide receiver. Your biggest need is to put a playmaker on the outside for your young quarterback and your franchise quarterback, right? Right? That's more important than having 10 goddamn picks, Chucks. And I love you. Way more important than 10 picks is the importance of an impact skill position player. If we were talking about running back, you want to – I know he's saying, like, he doesn't think how he's going to do it more than he does – more him saying he doesn't want us to do it, right? He's more saying he doesn't believe how he's going to do it. Okay, and I can buy into that, but how he has to do it. And I'm not the guy who bitches and moans about trading up every year. This is a must to go get one of them three.
Mm-hmm. I'm in.
Joey Todaro, any update on getting rid of Alshon? I think it's a June 1st cut. I don't think anybody's going to trade for him. Nobody knows his health, right?
Yeah.
You talk about a guy who might not come back to November. He's not going to play here. He's just going to – they're going to take the hit. They're going to save about $16 million or $12 million on that hit if they do it the June 1st.
Yeah.
So they're still going to take a hit, but nowhere near as bad. Here's a list of some. These are the only free wide receivers that fit the young free agents that have Howie's reporting targeting. Allison, Chester Rogers, Rashard Higgins, DeMarcus Robinson, Marcus Johnson again. Jackson who and Marcus Kemp. Yep.
There's two names on there that I would remotely take, and they still don't move the needle for me.
Are you going to say DeMarcus Robinson?
Yeah, it's those two. It's Allison or Robinson. And it's just because they're the only two out of that have given some sort of impact on the team.
Right, yeah.
It's not me falling in love with anything if either of them do. It's just, it again pushes J-Jaw down the line to where if we get to the scenario that we had last year, I'd rather have those two lining up as my number one wide receiver than J-Jaw.
And even that, though, like, Robinson, I feel like he's like the Chiefs version of Aguilar. Like, it's just the drops are ridiculous. Like that game against the Texans alone, I think he had like 3 drops in the first quarter.
Yeah,
playoff game. Like on that list, I guess he would be second behind Allison. But I remember when the offseason first started, it was like, oh, the Eagles are linked to DeMarcus Robinson. It's like, please do not, because if Howie expects this guy to like take a jump or whatever, I didn't even want to take a chance with him. So I'm glad he's not here yet, and I hope he's not here at all.
I'd rather bring back Denard Robinson.
Oh, my God, that dude. That's a name.
Yeah, there's not, that's the thing. There's not a lot out there. And there wasn't a lot out there to start it,
Which is why, to your point, Tom, which is why some of those guys, Robbie Anderson, Brashard Perriman, which is why they were so highly wanted, because they were the best of a doo-doo class.
Mm-hmm. The only reason I was like excited not excited, I was intrigued by Perriman is because he kind of like revived his career last year, and he really didn't play till like midway through the year. So he put up some. Obviously, he was in an offense with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, but I mean, I thought he put up some good numbers the second half of the season, like real good numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not a bad one. Right, and then we talk about underneath the Roby Coleman deal, $1 million. It could be worth 1.3. So, another great deal for Howie Roseman. Ryan said he'd rather bring back Josh Huff at this point. Probably more of an impact. Allison would get me pumped. Krim says I really like him a lot. Was surprised when I saw his name on the free agent list.
Yeah, I'm completely with Krim.
Joey Todaro, at least Denard Robinson can play Wildcat.
There you go.
Wasn't he one of the NCAA covers?
He was. I think 13, maybe 14.
Who drafted him?
Who did draft him?
Who?
Jacksonville.
Yeah. You're right.
And they actually let him use a little bit of that Wildcat first, for a little bit. Then they realized he stunk.
Marquis says Sammy Watkins going to get caught. Howie better not hesitate.
Is he?
I don't know.
Well, it's funny because I was
sit out the year or something like that.
No.
He said he wanted to sit out the year.
Did he?
Yeah. Do you remember? It was like right before the Super Bowl. He's like, I think I want to sit out a year and then go into free agency or some shit.
He probably wants more money.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, there was one of those rumors on obviously Twitter of trying to trade Robinson Rasul for Watkins if they could somehow work the money out. I'm like, why would either team do that when they know the Chiefs are about to cut him, as you said?
Yeah, an easy guy. An easy guy to cut. You got to be
Let's
all over.
Let's go, Joey. Let's go.
Yeah, Justin Blackman was a pimp.
I love Justin Blackman.
Love him. Yeah, right. I know he had an inconsistent year, but I will still take him. Still take him. At least is the guy a proven veteran.
Are we talking about Watkins?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'd take him. I just, like I said, I don't know if he's going to legit sit out the year or not. I know he said that before the Super Bowl. So,
Bill Motorbug, I can't even talk about this draft because every fucking year this guy fucks something up. He needs a vet, and he didn't get one. We missed. We are screwed. And listen, he could be. I mean, he really did go out and address his defense, so we got to give him some credit for that. And maybe he's thinking that he can address the rest of this stuff in the draft. Maybe he's got guys that he loves and thinks that, they're going to be there around his pick at 21 and addresses it that way. I would love normal AB without the extra. But wouldn't that be funny, though, after all this, right? ABs are outside guy.
I wouldn't say no.
Me neither, dude.
I don't think I can say no at this point. Where are we at? Yeah, Ryan's saying Josh Huff more newsworthy. Definitely was newsworthy. Chrome Watkins is hit and miss for me. Yo, he is hit or miss. That's the thing. I mean, nobody here, and I don't know, I'm not, and I know these guys aren't. I mean, nobody here is going to say, "Oh, that's the guy." That's the guy we were missing this whole time, Sammy freaking Watkins. No, it just gives you a vet out there.
No, but as a third receiver, I mean, I think he's plenty good enough.
I think even if he's your second, I think he's good enough.
Right, yeah.
He just won a Super Bowl being the team's second. So,
Yeah, and again, if you look at how we ended last year at the wide receiver position, we'd kill for Sammy Watkins right now.
Big time.
When your number one is an aging 33-year-old Deshaun Jackson, who always finds his way on the injured list, not a shot, it's just the truth. You have to do something else to back that up.
Mm-hmm.
Bill's saying, hold on. I'm trying to understand what Bill's saying on this one. That just disappeared.
Watkins more,
Chark. Fuck it, give our picks away and take the guarantee. Oh, I guess he means on.
Which Moore? DJ Moore from Carolina?
Yeah, he probably means DJ Moore.
They getting rid of him?
Oh, there's been talk.
Hi. Hello.
You already have a Watkins on your team with Deshaun, just a big play guy, not my choice. I understand that. None of these guys are going to be answer guys. You're still going to have to go address it. You're going to still have to address it in this draft. You're going to still have to try to get yourself that number one wide receiver for years to come. Any way you look at it, whoever you sign, if it's Allison, if it's Watkins, if it's Moore, the only guy that you could say, if you trade for would be Chark, where you could say, okay, I sort of have my number one to go with Carson, right? I mean, you could start to have that conversation, but that's it. Joey Todera, I remember bum-ass Brandon Whedon played with both Des Bryant and Justin Blackman, and Whedon said how Blackman would easily be a better pro. The comeback is real.
Bring Des Bryant in. Let's go.
Marquis said it before, J. Joel, 10 catch under 67 yards, 1 TD in a season. DK Metcalf, 7 catches, 160 yards, and 1 TD in 1 game against us. I'm cool. I'm cool off of the draft.
It was a very fitting way for our season to end.
And he's not wrong.
TTP says the Chiefs could cut Watkins and save $14 million.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gone girl, gone.
That makes perfect sense then.
Gone girl, gone. Chrome, I know what you're saying. I just don't pass on him. Make sense? I'm just not in the position. I'm not in the damn position to say, well, he sort of does the same thing as the other guy.
Yeah, now
Sammy Watkins is better than Robbie Anderson, who does the same thing as Deshaun. Right? So he's better than Brashard Perriman. Like he's not a number one guy like people thought he was a few years back. But Sammy Watkins can still make enough plays in this league.
nah, dude, I want to load the fuck up. If Watkins gets cut, sign him and still go receiver in the first round. Load the fuck up. I don't even care anymore.
Yeah. Like,
Tom, if I didn't meet Joe, I'd think that this was your burner account.
Joe,
Joe Moffett.
oh, yeah, you didn't. That's exactly what I said. Yeah. Clark, Yannick, and this year's first from the Jags for 3 first-round picks and a 2 and a 3. Yeah, and
I'm sorry, he threw in the first. I missed that.
I love how he threw in this year's Jags first too. I love that.
Yeah, that would make me think differently. I thought it was
I would do that then. Because then you're right. I'm legit getting 3 first rounders back.
I'm getting 3 first rounders. So I'm just trading. I'm trading essentially later round picks to go up and get talent. Or not go up and get talent, but to have talent, proven talent at a young age, under the age of 24.
You got to get a payday though.
Oh, I'm gonna give money. How much I'm cap?
That's
I think I'm $30 million, so under the cap this year.
And if you're trading for Yannick, that almost means you're cutting bait on Barnett, to where at least you don't have to pay him big money if you're going to keep him around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're not parting ways with him now.
No, you're not. But you're going to let that contract go. See if you can extend him for a minimum raise, but you don't have to give him Yannick money because he's obviously not Yannick.
Yeah, you're right. Andy Ritter. So one name I never hear anyone here talk about is Joe Burrow. How much of an impact will he make on a team? Where does he end up? Could he end up not? Well, he's definitely getting drafted.
He's going 1.
He's going number 1.
He's going 1. He's going.
That's why. Yeah.
Go ahead, Greg.
No, you say that's why no one talks about him, because there's no ifs, ands, or buts. He's going number 1. He's the best quarterback in the draft. He's going, as you mentioned, to Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he's going to have an impact right away. To me, Tua was the better guy, though. So, it is what it is. What? You have a problem with that?
Yeah, I don't like Tua at all.
Cool. You go off for the 1.
I like Tua, but I don't think he's better than Burrow.
You guys go off the 1 year guy.
I didn't go. I'm not going over 1 year guy.
Yeah, you are.
No, I'm not.
1 year of this success. That kind of success. 2 years.
If you would have watched LSU last year, he didn't win a national championship, but he drastically changed that offense last year to where even last year I was like, ooh, they got something with this Burrow kid, because LSU's never been able to recruit a quarterback. They got Burrow to transfer in, and he legit changed their offense last year under that offensive coordinator.
Okay. I just would take 2 over. I'm not saying he doesn't go in the top 5. I'm not taking a shot at it.
I'd stay away from Tua. I don't think he's going to be good at all.
Why? Because he's left-handed?
I disagree with that. I think Tua's going to be. I think Tua's.
He's left-handed and out of Alabama. They're just Alabama quarterbacks just don't have a very good track record in the pros.
That's fine, but when's the last Alabama quarterback to put up numbers like he does?
And when you're throwing the guys, as we mentioned, that we're trying to draft in Ruggs and Judy that are so wide open, can you make those tough throws when you need to?
Okay. What is? Then I can make the same case for Joe Burrow. So,
well, that's what you're saying. You're going off of 1 year. If you go back to last year when their offense
I'm paying 111 catch came from Justin Jefferson. So how is Mr. Burrow without Justin Jefferson then? If we're gonna make these outlandish claims that the only reason Tua is successful is because of Ruggs and Judy, but
that's the only reason.
It goes both
ways. Pretty much you downplayed Tua's success because of the playmakers on the outside.
It sure helps, doesn't it?
It doesn't help Mr. Barrow.
I never said it didn't.
111 catches. 111 catches.
Burrow made a lot more NFL-like throws than Tua's had to.
You don't know
I can't believe you're trusting the left-handed quarterback out of Alabama.
You felt, where did that come from? Tua don't make NFL-style throws now?
I just can't trust him.
What's there to trust?
And he's healthy. And he's his health. Is he back? Is he good? That's a scary injury, that hip. I mean, that's nothing to take lightly.
No, you're that side of it. I'll agree with you on. You know, on the unknown injury side of it would scare me away a little bit, absolutely. But before pre-injury, to me, it's not close. It's not close. It was tankless for Tua before the injury for a lot of teams. Before Barrow came on the scene. Let's remember that. Remember where it was.
There was no guarantee Tua was even coming out.
Right. I understand that. But if you talked about a mock draft going into the college football season, okay, the number one quarterback was Tua. It would have been unanimous. And then Joe Burrows had a monster year.
I don't think it would have been unanimous.
Who then?
It would have been Burrow would have been up there.
No, going into the college football year?
Yes.
Now, stop it. You did not have Burrow as a
We're not asking me. You say if you're talking to other mocks before the draft, before the season.
You name a mock draft. You find me the mock draft that had Burrow in the top 5 before the college football season started.
He's a 5-star recruit. Why wouldn't he have been in the top 5?
Get out of here. Get out of here. I want to know
Herbert was in the top 5.
They didn't have 3 quarterbacks in the top 5, Greg, in a mock draft.
Not a mock, but they were top 5 ranked players.
I'm asking you. I'm telling you, Burrow wasn't ranked going top 5 in the NFL draft before the season started.
Yeah, you're wrong.
There were so much questions if LSU would even have a good offense this year again.
They had a good offense last year.
They weren't as good. They weren't as explosive as they were this year.
No, they were because it was Burrow's first year. He was just taking over the reins after his redshirt year because he had to sit out because of the transfer.
Tua didn't have any problems taking over his first year.
Alabama's a machine. LSU was still good.
LSU
was still good. LSU was always been good.
LSU doesn't have talent all over the field, Greg.
I never said they don't. But they've always gotten by because of their defense and their running backs because their quarterbacks have been trashed for the most part.
So you take a shot at Bama QBs draft-wise, but then you're sold on Mr. LSU draft-wise.
But what
Bama LSU draft number 1? Who was his name?
Purple Drink.
Never forget, okay? You want to make the Alabama. At least nobody goes one from Alabama quarterback-wise. The last time an LSU guy went 1 after a magical year, we know how that ended up.
Yeah, I'm not sitting here. I wasn't crowning Jamarcus Russell either.
No, Joe's better than Demarcus Russell. I mean, it's not even close. Jamarcus Russell. Joe's way better than that, and he's a top 10 guy to me. So
Ralphie's correct for the first time in his life. Watch draft day last night. Still a great movie.
Yeah, trade up.
Give it all up.
PTP, I love this. Anthony Adas, Barrow is suspect.
Okay.
Joey, I also remember Joe Barrow couldn't beat out Dwayne Haskins at Ohio State, and Haskins is the real why Barrow transferred. Oh, real talk.
There's nothing wrong there. Absolutely.
Ain't about playbook Dwayne. Bill Murrow, Barrow was a 3rd and 4th before the end of the season. Tua was number 1 everywhere. It's the truth, Greg. I'm here to help you.
Yeah, and I'm here to help you. Tua stinks.
Herbert is second best. Anthony, who do you have as your first?
Well, he earlier said Burrow was suspect, so he's probably on the Tua train. I hope he ruins Uncle Sweeps' day and goes to Miami because I know he's going to be pissed.
He's going to be pissed until he's better than Joe is. That's the thing. That's the thing. Like, I can't draft a guy 1 overall off of 1 year. I cannot.
It's more than 1 year, but okay.
It's one.
Mr. SEC, you obviously didn't watch LSU last year.
I don't miss SEC games, so don't tell
Then you missed all last year.
I watched enough of it. It was not even close, Greg. He wasn't even on freaking radars like
It was his first year in the system.
You're making an excuse now.
I'm not. What is that? The offense was different.
You're still not on the honesty side, Greg. Last year, okay, at this time, ain't nobody in the fucking country outside of a few LSU freaking diehards talking about a national championship or talking about Barrow going number 1 in the draft.
I'm not saying Barrow was going number 1. I never said that.
Did he
pre-draft
about the whole time?
You said he was a top 3 quarterback going into the year.
Yes.
I hardly knew his name going into the year, so I mean, I'll admit. I mean,
from way down there.
You said you watched him last year, so I mean, you know more than I do. But going into the year, Joe Burrow, I barely hardly knew the dude's name.
I'm not. You're probably right. There's probably a lot of people, but I'm a Big Ten guy, so I knew him all the way back from Ohio State when he signed there as a 5-star recruit. So,
glad you've been following him.
Yeah,
your kid.
I hated that he was there. I was so glad he transferred because they made the wrong choice.
Marquis says Bengals doomed forever. Who cares?
Yeah, pretty much.
And that's why I feel like I think too. It's going to go if Miami does take him. I think he goes to a better spot right away too. You know, a team that's spending money.
Yeah,
I think Miami's a perfect spot for him, and I think he's going to be successful. I really do. Chase Brooks, this ball guy. I guess I'm the only ball guy here, so I guess that would be me. Is a white Stephen A. I'll take it. His money too. If he's willing to donate some. Alex Ritter, Joe Burrow is the greatest of all time. My God, Jesus, God, come on, calm your brother down, Andy. You didn't even know his name last freaking March. Nobody even knew his name outside of Greg, supposedly. If the Bengals would have drafted Tom Brady, he would have been Ty Detmer. Bill Murray. Jefferson gave Barrows his name. He was transferred so he could play.
And Burrow didn't help Jefferson either. You know what I mean? Like, I get that. He's right. He did transfer because he wasn't playing at Ohio State because Urban Meyer was in love with Haskins and Fields, and he saw the writing on the wall. I don't disagree with any of that. But you can't just say that Jefferson made Burrow and Burrow didn't make Jefferson.
Yeah, it definitely goes both ways.
Oh, absolutely goes both ways. Joey says, so last year before the college football season, Joe Burrow was considered a mid-range draft pick.
Last year, before the college football season, before he even stepped foot on the LSU field for them last year, not this past year.
Greg, he's talking about this year.
You talking about this year?
Before the season started.
Okay.
Mid-range guy.
Still top 3 quarterback, though. Because who else is above him? You had Herbert, you had Tua. Who are the other quarterbacks in this draft that would have been above him?
I don't know off the top of my head, Greg. Guys.
Okay.
Guys, you're going to try to make this point. And who was Ohio State's quarterback? Why am I drawing a blank?
Justin Fields.
Yeah, Fields was probably projected to have a better year than him.
Yeah, but it wasn't a draftable guy. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you're right. There's probably other guys that were projected to have better years than him.
I mean, no, fair. I mean, it is what it is. What the hell just happened here? Sorry, that's on me. My end over here. I mean, I get you. Brom's another one.
Yeah, Jake from State Farm.
Lawrence. I mean, guys that aren't coming out and guys that did come out.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I just didn't think he was – that's why he was buried. Like, you want to tell me he was a top, 8 to 10 guy coming into the year, sure, right? But I mean, you got to look over in the Big 12, the Pac-12, right? Because you're talking about pass-happy offenses where there's guys I'm just throwing blanks on right now because I wasn't in the mindset of this. But there's guys that will probably project that better years than him. and maybe didn't. But he had to listen. To the kid's credit, he had a monster year and raised his draft stock. So it's what have you done for me lately? And it was a monster year.
Yeah.
I just don't know if I take him one. That's all. I would just be scared if I'm Cincinnati. That I'll just be worried a little bit just because I don't have 2 years of it or 3 years really of sustained success in a way. You know what I mean? Which sort of makes that pick a lot more comfortable for them.
But you'd be more apt to take Tua at 1?
It's hard because of the injury.
Right.
No injury, it's not even up for debate for me on who would go 1. But the injury concern puts that on me. But if I'm Cincinnati, I just go give myself the DN and call it a day.
Young.
I just take Young and I just say, all right, this is who I know the best player is.
Yeah.
Go from there.
Sign Cam and call it a day.
Or I draft freaking Judy. I'm dead serious. Guys that I know I have a track record a little bit longer. And I'll wait for my quarterback next year. And I'll be on and on.
But you're going to be number 1 again, so you might as well tank for sunshine.
I might take Judy and not Young because Young might make me a little bit better than I need to be. So I take Judy, and then next year I take Lawrence, and I got Lawrence and Judy. All right, Cincinnati's back.
Yeah.
I mean, they never were here, but they're back.
Somehow Marvin Lewis had a job for 15, 20 years.
You never want to.
Sunshine's awful.
Stop it.
I know you're Ohio State up, my brother, but calm down. Chase Brooks, Chase Young, and hold off with Trevor Lawrence. Yep, right what I'm saying, brother. Agree. I agree, Chrome. I think Cam goes to Miami. I completely agree with that. Where does Cam Newton end up?
That's interesting.
I think he goes to New England. I know it's not
That's great. Dan, that's not, talk it, baby. Talk it. Let me hear it. I want to hear it.
I know this doesn't seem like a typical Belichick thing, but it's just I don't think he's going to want to go see Tom go have some success in Tampa while he sits back with who the fuck's that quarterback team? Stidham. Because then it's
no, you're exactly right.
It was Tom all these years, not Bill. Bill's going to want to at least be competitive, and I think Cam's most realistic chance of being competitive and winning that division again.
See, I'm with you on the mindset. I think that it's going to be different because I don't know if Bill can make an offense around Cam after dealing with Tom for so long, right? But I'm almost in the mindset of Bill has this, I know it was just a photo, but it's scary to me that Bill probably is tanking and drafting Trevor Lawrence number 1 next year.
I was thinking that too.
That's completely scary. Have one bad year like the Spurs did.
Pretty much what the Warriors are doing.
Or the Warriors did or the Spurs did to get Tim Duncan to team up with David Robinson.
That's what the Warriors are doing this year.
I completely forgot about Miami in the Cam Newton sweepstakes. I was kind of thinking really the only logical place left was San Diego or LA, the Chargers. They're probably going to draft either Herbert or Love in that 6 range, wherever they're at. So I was more set on Dalton going to New England.
Okay.
And kind of filling in that kind of Tom-ish role of a more traditional pocket guy. And Cam going to LA for like a 1 year, 2 year deal while they kind of groom one of these quarterbacks like a Love or whoever the other guys are that I don't think are going to be ready to go day one.
I was kind of thinking Tua to the Chargers, which would fall in line with Cam to Miami. Like if that was to happen, then obviously Miami wouldn't be looking for a quarterback at 5.
Yeah, so then Miami might be a trade target at 5 for someone who wants Tua. Mm-hmm. So they better wait and not. If they're going to sign Cam, they better wait till after the draft so that there's no so that there's a little bit of intrigue there to drive the price up for number 5 pick.
I know because obviously Brady's gone. Everyone's like getting on the Bills train. I'm not even a huge Cam guy, but if Cam went to Miami, they could win that division. With all the money they've spent, and I thought they had some young talent on that roster last year, and I think Flores is a good coach. Like they could win that division.
They're going to be tough. You're absolutely right. So you're right. You get a quarterback there that can play, and and be, some sort of a playmaker back there as Cam can when he's good. It definitely makes them a tough out there for sure.
Yeah, it's still the Bills to me, but right now it's the Bills. Now, Cam definitely helps their chances. I agree with what Joey's saying. Whatever QB goes to the Dolphins, they better pray they get some offensive line, or I'd be scared shitless. And a guy like Cam, who's been banged up a lot recently, doesn't need that, needs some protection. But I do think it's a perfect fit for him. I know Ryan talks about the Chargers being a fit. They did say they're all about Tyrod Taylor this year. I don't think that's real.
Know what that reminds me of? 2016, before the Eagles drafted Wentz, when they were like going to go with Bradford, they gave him that 2-year extension. That's exactly what that reminds me of.
Yeah, no, I agree. Did you hear that one, Greg?
Yeah. No, you're right. It's that stopgap that's not really a stopgap, But to Joey's point, if Cam goes to Miami, you could use that 5th pick for that offensive lineman from Alabama or whoever your guy is at the offensive line to then solidify that portion of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Chargers are playing coy right now because I think they're going to draft Tua. And I think the reason why they said Tyrod is their guy is almost as a way to give Tua the time when they do draft them to not sort of the rush to start them right away, right? So I think that's why they went in the direction they went, because I do think that they're playing a little coy right now, and I think they're going to sneak up, and it's either going to be Tua or they're going to go Herbert. I want to go Herbert, but I think they're going to go Tua, and they're going to sneak up there because I think Miami is going to go Cam, and I think they're going to go offensive line like Joey's talking about in the first to try to address that. So I can see that's the way it's shaping out, but it could go so many different ways. This NFL season's been crazy, and I mean, Tom to Tampa just started it off on being nuts. So, I mean, I can see Cam going to New England, like Danny said, and not be shocked by it. You know what I mean? So,
sorry, Uncle Sweet chimes in. He goes, "We got Eric Flowers, we gooch." He said, "Stop talking about Cam before I puke."
Yeah, I don't want to keep doing it to you. I'm talking about two guys you're probably not going to like in Cam and Tua. But, I mean, that's the two directions, I think, for the Dolphins. I think they either go Cam and they're sort of get themselves in win now mode quickly, or they go the other way and they draft Tua and, they give it Fitzy one more year and then they give the keys over to Tua. Or they go neither way. They draft an offensive lineman. Then I don't know what position they're in right now. And they try to stink for Lawrence, but they're not going to be bad enough. So to me, they're in win now almost, or coming close to trying to win now. They're trying. I mean, all their moves are win now moves, right? I mean, I don't bring in Van Noy. I don't bring in Byron Jones. I don't bring in Jordan Howard if I'm not thinking that I can't go to the playoffs, right?
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. And that was my other
6-year-old players. They're all 27, 28 or older.
That was my other thought, too. If you go sign Cam, instead of maybe if you don't like the offensive lineman, maybe you could draft Okuda from Ohio State and team him with Jones and just legitly solidify your defense. Or you go get Simmons.
Howard.
Or you go get Simmons. I forgot about they had Xavier Howard.
Yeah, Xavier Howard. And
I forgot about that. I'm sorry. So, Okuda's out then. You're not drafting him 4 or 5 and letting them play. You're not playing 3 quarterbacks.
No, they're either going to go Simmons, right? They either go linebacker and just say, hey, our defense is going to be good, right?
Yep.
Or they go offensive line. That's the direction I think Miami goes. Or they get cute and they go Judy. They could go that direction.
Yeah.
Nobody's really talking about that. And I still don't think Judy even gets to 8. I don't know how he gets to 8. I don't know how. Who the fuck is drafting guys then? Because everybody should be fired. If Judy even gets to 8, everybody should be canned. He's top 5. Shit, if I'm Cincinnati, I told you what I'm doing. It's Young or it's Judy or maybe even Simmons, but I ain't doing that. So it's Simmons, Young, or Judy at 1. That's who it is. Or the best offensive lineman on the board at 1. You know what I mean? Who I'm sure is the kid from Bama, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
Marquis says Redskins should sign Cam and draft Judy at 2 and go defense heavy with the rest of their picks.
That would make them pretty dangerous.
Yeah,
I would want that from a divisional standpoint, and not necessarily Cam, because eventually they're going to hit on a QB, and when you team Judy with McLaren and some of those other guys that they have on the outside, it'd be pretty scary.
It would be. I wouldn't want to see them. They're already better coached than they were last year, so they're to become tougher to me. Bill Middlebrooks, Camus Hill, Howard, Agua, Jones, Cam, a ton of money and picks. You know I've got them edging the Bills. Listen, you can't have them yet edging the Bills. Cam ain't there. So right now they don't edge the Bills.
Right.
But y'all can't edge somebody when you don't got a quarterback. Can't edge somebody without a quarterback. Like at least the Bills have a young Allen who has been to the playoffs already in his first year. So I mean,
yeah, you're right.
That matters. Kids already went to the playoffs. They got a great defense. They just went and got him a number 1 wideout. They got a good offensive line. They got a good defensive line in Buffalo. Right? Miami can't say they have a good offensive line or it's even close to being where they want it to be. Right? They gave up their best offensive lineman last year. They traded him to Houston. Right?
They got a good deal for him.
Great deal for him. Yeah. But I just would never trade Tunsil anyway. But
nope.
I mean, whatever. And then you're going to trade Tunsil, and this is what you're going to bring in as your tackle, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to bring his name up. He don't even deserve a name. But he's got paid a ton of money to go stink. So you can't tell me Miami's better than Buffalo right now.
He can play guard, right? I guess they're assuming he's going to play guard.
Who, Flowers?
Yeah.
Shit, I don't know where. Derek Wall.
Then he played guard last year. He played a lot better than guard, right? Dream team, too.
They're definitely going in the right direction, Miami. But until you know who their quarterback is in the future, you can't, even with Fitzpatrick, dude, like they're not winning 10, 11 games. They're not. Because he turns the football over way too much. Right? Yeah. I love Fitzy. But he turned, Chrome, I know you're freaking, it's rainbows and blowjobs when it comes to Fitzmagic. But he turns the football way too over way too much for me to count them to win a division. That's just my opinion.
Sweeps checks back in. He says Howard and Jones have the potential to be the best duo in the league. He said take Judy at 5, F it. And he says tough call there, but Chase Young potential to be another left tackle or Chase. He was talking about left tackle, but Chase Young's a defensive, so I don't know what Young's talking about.
Bill, but Buffalo just doesn't have Diggs. You forget who they already had on their football team. They were already a playoff team, Bill. They were already a playoff team. Their defense is loaded. They got the best cover guy, one of the best cover guys in football on their outside too. So like, let's stop acting like the Bills are trash because they didn't have this monster offseason. They went out and they actually did something the Eagles we've been begging the Eagles to do. Go get your young quarterback a 1. They went and said, whatever you want. They might have overpaid for it, but they still went to address it. The Bills are better than the Dolphins right now. Now, if the Dolphins take Judy at 5, you know how I feel about Judy. I still can't put them over. I can't put a Ryan Fitzpatrick-led team over anybody. I can't. Because it'll be a great game. It'll be 4 picks. Great game, 4 picks. I can't.
And Uncle was talking about Lawrence Taylor. So he's saying Young has a chance to be another potential Lawrence Taylor or Lawrence Taylor light. That was what the LT was. I didn't think of the OG LT. Sorry.
Like I told you, Sweeps, like even if they get Simmons at 5, Judy at 5, you know, if it's not a quarterback, if they don't feel 2 is the guy for whatever, you know what I mean? That's fine. I'm not saying I even would take 2 at 5. I might take Judy at 5. I might take Simmons at 5. If I'm Miami, I might take the best offensive tackle on the board at 5 and just build that way and say, you know what? And then go get Cam and just say so good everywhere else. that we're going to win football games, even if Cam isn't the pocket guy. Go get Judy, and Cam's going to look better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With Devontae
Don't
Parker,
forget Devontae
Judy on
Parker's
the
on there.
outside.
Yeah.
Is Ryan sick again?
Why?
That last comment. Bills could win this Super Bowl if Allen takes the next step.
That's not a hot take.
I mean, I just think there's a lot of other better teams in the AFC. I agree the Bills could be a very big issue because they already are. I don't disagree there, but could win the Super Bowl, that might be a little bit of,
If Allen takes one of those leaps like Wentz did from year 1 to year 2, I mean.
But you're right. I mean, I don't think they win the Super Bowl.
Forget win a Super Bowl. I'll rephrase for Ryan and help him. They got a chance to go to a Super Bowl. How about that?
Yeah.
All right? Because they absolutely do.
I'm
higher on the Bills than a lot of people. And I'm not Mr. Allen either. I just love how they're built. They're built tough. They're built tough up front on both sides. All levels can play. I like them. I like them. I still think offensively, I don't know how I feel, about Allen yet. I just don't know. But let's see what a number one wideout on the outside does to help him.
I think
the happiness at times, right?
Yeah, no, I think Allen can be good. It's just your same thought with Fitzmagic, and I'm not comparing the two, but the turnover aspect of it, right? Allen right now, because he wants to make so many plays and he's so athletic, he tends to turn the ball over way too much. So, I guess if when you rephrase it, could get to a Super Bowl, I can buy into that. If you're right, he takes that next step, and especially if that next step is taking care of football.
Well, I can't believe we got this much into Miami. Buffalo again.
I don't think anyone's overlooking Van Noy.
No, not at all, Chrome. Not here.
Not when you figure out he's going to a guy who just coached them for the last 5 years.
No, that's why. That's why. And I love what they did because I thought, how they started last year and they traded a lot of guys and could have just quit. It says a lot about how well coached they are for a young head coach, right? He's built toughness down there, which I really like. And I think we can all relate to, right? Mm-hmm. He's building toughness. And to go out and get vets like he did, solid like Van Noy, Jones, Howard, just to name a few, really tough guys, right? Like Howard, a tough back. Van Noy, tough. Jones, tough. I mean, really adding on to what the direction they're trying to go and what they're trying to build in Miami. Mm-hmm. Bill Middlebrook, that was a big win for us last year against the Bills. Yeah, it was. And it was a tough one, too.
Thank God it was raining.
But both teams built similar to both teams built in the trenches. Thank God it was raining.
Doug would have threw it 75 times. We wouldn't have won.
This guy's such an issue, Danny. He has zero respect for our head football coach. Zero respect.
But tell me I'm not wrong.
Did you see what Will Parks' tweet earlier? He said, "Coach Doug is great."
I did chuckle at that. That was funny.
He's listening to Post Malone.
I don't know who Post Malone is, but yeah.
It's someone you wouldn't expect Doug Peterson to listen to.
I know who he is, Dan. Come on. But you're right. You wouldn't expect him to. You're right.
So before we get rolling here, real quick.
Yes, Marcus. They did. With an intern scoring multiple touchdowns on us.
One thing you're doing to get through the quarantine.
Sleep.
I'm working. There is no quarantine for me. I'm working.
You're still working. Danny's sleeping.
I've caught up in my sleep a lot.
I'm trying to be the next gamer. Trying to dominate NBA 2K right now.
And I've been on my PS4 a lot. I hadn't touched my PlayStation since Thanksgiving, and I've been playing it like all week.
I haven't touched the Xbox since last year.
Oh shit.
Yep. So
I re-downloaded GTA.
Me too. I got to get back into it though. I get too sidetracked playing it where I just want to punch everybody in the face. Where I gotta slow your roll, like the cops are coming. So the biggest question, and we're gonna leave everybody with this one tonight: when will sports be back? Because now you've seen the Olympics canceling in the summer already. You're hearing the NFL say, "Whoa, we're not gonna be able to get started in September." They're saying it's already. So as we thought that everything was going to be going without a hitch, last Wednesday, Greg, I think that was our poll question.
Yeah.
Would the NFL go off on time? I didn't think they were going to. I still don't think they go. I don't think they start till October. I think they're at least pushed a month behind because you got GMs complaining now, which I don't understand why they're complaining, but they are. Everybody's scared to miss, right? So now you got GMs complaining. I think they're pushed back. And I think the other thing is if the NBA is dead set on playing their playoffs throughout the summer and into September, NFL wants no parts of that. They want no parts of dealing with the NBA Finals or Eastern and West Conference Finals during the NFL season. They want no parts of that. So that's another reason why the NFL, in my opinion, gets started middle of October. Can't believe it. This is real. It's happening.
It's insane.
The MLB is hoping for a early June start to the season, which I hope, because that best case scenario looks like June.
And Danny, I want to agree with that, but the Summer Olympics tell me a lot. They tell me a lot.
I think the Summer Olympics doesn't, just because there's so many other countries that aren't, that are coming to this, right? So there's so much added extraness and extra travel and logistics and all that. So that kind of makes more sense to me.
That's also not in the U.S. Like, it's just obviously we're just talking about U.S. sports. I mean, I don't think it's like crazy to think that we could start back up in June or July.
Yeah, so like I was hoping ultimately for like a Memorial Day weekend, opening weekend for baseball.
That'd be dope.
That'd be kind of killer. Obviously, most people will obviously be off, so hopefully those
fans.
I hope fans, but I mean, we're speculating at this point. I hope fans, because I hope I'm not still working from home Memorial Day. But it's crazy. So I mean, June. I'm praying for June Memorial Day because I can't go anymore.
No, stir crazy is not even a word. This is why we're trying to do as many shows as we can, as I can, because it gives me something to do. I've never not like going to work. I mean, I was joking like this is what retired life feels like. Like I'm retired. It's like it's done. You're done time. You're retired. Like, no, I don't like retired life. Nope, not for me. Unless you put me on a fucking beach and I can't go there because they're closing the beach down because all the animals, all the kids. And you see, my God, what NBA player said it today? Oh, shit. He said, fuck. Oh, Udonis Haslem he said, fuck y'all spring break. Stay home. That's what he said. Real talk.
Yeah.
But, to me, I know you guys are saying the Summer Olympics worried me a little bit because, like, wow, you're making a decision quick. Okay. So then I'm like, baseball's talking about June. Fair. But then you got guys that are traveling back from countries. You got a little bit of that going on, and then you're gonna have fans in. I'm gonna say middle of June. I'm really gonna pray middle of June start for baseball. I know they're talking June 1st. To me, nothing's gonna go off when people think it's gonna go off. I think that's what we're at right now. I think everybody's gonna put dates and times they're trying to go off from, but I think everything's pushed back unless Billy Dawson's right, Danny. And and this is where the awakening's happening. And the virus ain't true, and it's just a wrestler coming. And we could be starting in May. Or sorry, we could be what the president said. We could be Easter if the arrests are done by then.
I don't know if it's not that it's not real. I just think it's a good cover-up. While no one's paying attention.
It is phenomenal if these arrests were going on, like, because we're all stuck inside, and it's all to protect the kids. That's why all the schools are dead. I mean, it makes sense. I went down the rabbit hole the other night. I was there.
It's so crazy that it's actually like,
dude, what did you do to me?
It's so crazy that it's like, wait, maybe it really does get you thinking.
It does, because a lot of it's like, wow, that makes sense.
I was watching Raw last week when Marcus was talking about Stone Cold stunned Byron Saxton. They caught a beer from an empty crowd.
God.
It was phenomenal.
Our MLB player's gonna blow kisses up after they hit a homer.
Nobody. Sweeps before we get out of here. He said, yup, every scumbag on the island went off the fish team after week 2. Flores did a tremendous job keeping them together, and even though I wanted 1 or 2, he wanted 1 or 2 pick for Chase Young. And he said, you're going to be in the Phillies game in June with 40K. And I said, you're damn right I'll be there.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all want to be there at this point.
Dude, when sports come back, like everywhere, I don't know. I don't care if the team is good or bad. Like everywhere in the U.S., dude, stadiums are going to be selling out.
I hope so.
Like, no matter what sport, how good they are. Like, I'm telling you, just because it's been gone, people are just going to run back to it.
Is this your rabbit hole, Tommy? 5G?
Another rabbit hole. You want to go down that one too? You go down that one. We all got radiation in the month. We're all dead. When you're driving around, look at all the Verizon cats. See what they're putting in. Check the lines they're putting in. Supposedly, like China just built their 5G network. So happened coronavirus starts right after. So is it the fucking bat or is it the 5G? I'm asking for a world. I'm asking for a whole world. 5G or the bat or combo. Did the 5G help mutate this from animal to human? Was that part of the 5G game? Did that help the jump when it went back to human?
Oh God.
Stay home hub.
Oh my gosh. Stay home hub. You can get Pornhub Premium for free right now, family. Feel free to, rotate, use both hands and get it out as much as you can. They're saying, they claim
Eileen don't need any help with that.
The healthier you are. Boost your immune system. So tell your wife or your significant other the importance. And if she ain't having it, stay at home hub is. TTP, great show. As always, y'all, stay safe and healthy. Right at you, brother.
You too. Thanks, brother.
Staying as much as you guys can. You know what I do is, like I said, I'm not doing the Wawa or any of the bigger places anymore. Like, I'll go to CVS because I don't have to open a door, which I'm a big fan of nowadays. And I'll go to, like, the local, like, corner store just because I feel like there's less, like, foot traffic. You know what I mean? But I still go to the store once a day like I would. You know what I mean? You just change it up a little bit. But this is tough. This has been tough. Bill Motorboat, great show, guys. Be safe, everyone. Right back at you, Bill.
Thanks, Bill. Appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, Bill, it's crazy, the 5G stuff, brother. Look it up. Everybody look it up. Get yourself in a rabbit hole tonight. And look up The Great Awakening. Look up Q. That's quantum. And, wow, this might get shut down immediately. Because that would be, Trump, don't shut this down, Donald. We need make the arrest. Billy LeBron blows Dawson would be the one. He was 100% spot on what's going on. Makes me laugh, dude. He was in the group heavy with like that Bob Moyer's group, like every minute on the minute, like another update. The Great Awakening. But I think like Bob probably had an inbox, like, dude, take it to your personal. Because now all I see is on a personal all the time.
Sweepsy says, great show, boys. We all know Steppy's an issue. I hope someone sneezes on your dollar dog.
Wow, I mean, geez. He went straight sneeze on your dog.
Yeah. I don't put condiments on my dog. We're good. No sauces.
So before we run, that's the poll question. Me and Danny agreed. And Greg said Jimmy Rollins. So that's where we stand. Remember, you can check out all our shows here. Just like, subscribe, follow, whatever platform you're on right now. We'll continue to be coming live to you. Tomorrow night, you're going to have Lazy Booking and the Hockey Happy Hour guys. And I know they're going to talk about, hockey being unsure if they're even going to be able to come back. Some things are getting postponed and hockey-wise. So hockey's having their own issues on trying to come back. I guess Andy's going to be on with Crone tomorrow as well because he's saying huge night on A2D tomorrow too. So you have Lazy Booking on Cromer 7, I assume, brother. He's in here. I assume there's 7, and the Hockey Happy Hour guys will be on at 10. So 2 shows tomorrow night. Stay tuned. Friday, 1 o'clock afternoon show. Be a bunch of guys from A2D. We'll be doing something live around 1 o'clock, and then the weekly roundup on Saturday.
Shit, I might pop in that on Friday.
Well,
And then
I gotta find a new office tomorrow.
And then that's Friday, Greg. Keep up. Tomorrow's Thursday.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, no, you're fine. And then agree, disagree on Sunday. We'll probably do an afternoon one as well. Chrome says 6:30. Little 6:30. Little special edition lazy booking. And a huge lazy booking in this very ring crossover. WrestleMania roundtable tomorrow. See, I don't know enough about wrestling to know this. So there you go. That's why they're in here. 2-part special event, he said. Thursday and Saturday.
Just like WrestleMania, 2 nights.
The more you know. I love it, boys. I love it. I just want to say, a former A2D guy coming back. He'll be joining us on Wednesdays, and hopefully Danny, will keep joining us on Wednesdays, doing it this way as well. It's my buddy Nick Giuliano. He used to do a show here back in the day. Moved up to North Jersey, way up, about 2 hours away. Saw we were doing it this way and was like, shit, I don't got to drive. I'm in. So excited to talk football again with Jules. Big football guy. You know how Chuck's is with running backs? Jules is with D-backs. So not as he's never wrong. Just he's locked in. So excited for tomorrow night. It's gonna be a big show. Lazy booking and in this very ring crossover tomorrow night. WrestleMania roundtable. Awesome stuff. So tune in tomorrow, 6:30. Boys, anything else before we roll out of here?
Nope.
Nah, I'm good. Thanks, guys.
Been real. For Tom Arnone, Greg Mogovic, Dan McGuckin, everybody out there, family, love you. Thanks for tuning in. Stay safe. Be healthy. Wash your fucking hands. We out.